All right. Yes, we are live on YouTube. Welcome, YouTube.
Hello.
Let's play with some stuff. Let's see if my drops work.
Hey, a few more of those 20s, I'm a happy pig.
I'm thinking I'd be lucky to get that on Christmas.
Last Christmas, I shit in your sheets. The
Now that's a
very
segue.
next day, my son said he's gay. This year, I'll die drinking beer and won't give gifts to my children.
Mr. Magenta's going to be in Boston, by the way.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, he's making the trip. He'll be hanging with us.
That's great.
Yep. So he's going to put together a song or two for the live show. There's just a handful of tickets remaining for that, too. So if people want to come see us, WTPlive.com, June 21st. We will be in Boston. Now, we do these shows on Wednesdays, and you hear me say things like, hey, support and participate in the show. You can go to supertip.gg/WTP. You can give us a super chat right here at YouTube. You can buy memberships, gift memberships, all those things.
I hear that.
But we have so much to get to today. I don't want to get bogged down with that kind of stuff.
No time.
I hope people will respect my wishes
Me too.
and not just flood us with super tips and things that we have to get distracted with when we really have a lot, and I mean a lot, on the list.
It would derail a very tight ship we have here.
And I'm not even getting into all the Dabbleverse stuff that, we used to get into around here, but there's too much important things going on in the world. Yeah, I said it.
Okay.
I ain't scared. Discount Dog. Can't wait for Skinny Chad segment. Yep, that is coming up. I don't know if anyone's seen that yet. It's got about 50 views, so I guess some people might have seen that.
It's worth the watch.
For what it's worth, if you will. I don't understand the gifting membership thing. Well, Dylan, I'm glad you brought that up. You see, what you can do is you can purchase memberships for people right there in YouTube, right next to this video that you're looking at. And what that does is it gives randomly people who don't have memberships to our channel, memberships to the channel. And then they get access to the bonus stuff, like the bonus show we did yesterday, Living in the Past with Stuttering John, episode 12. You also get to watch the live shows on Saturdays when we record them at 2 p.m. Eastern. Everyone who's a member gets the link to that. And they can watch that even after the fact, whenever they want.
Yeah. Even if you're a Wednesday person.
You could be a Wednesday guy. You could be a WATS dude. You could be a WATB buddy.
Has yet to happen, but
They're out today with Vinny.
I
don't know
saw
if anyone
that.
caught
No,
that.
I saw that.
Are you a bonus guy? Oh, I was a bonus guy. Forced to join. There's Christian. I know how tough it is to run a show, so I'll respect Carl's wishes and send no super chats today. That's what I expect from you. A true soldier in the Who Are These community. The family. The Who Are These family. Let's just face it. We're more than a community. We're more than friends at this point.
It's a crack home.
It's more of a drug den, but you get the point. A family lives there. Yeah, right. We'll get you out of here soon.
Stop on the journey.
Yep. As long as you all behave, we'll get you out of here at some point.
I'm gonna do Joey C's show tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna
That's
do.
right. He's excited about that.
I know he's excited. He's
Man,
maybe
he
a little
picked the
too
wrong week to go viral.
excited. Well, I'm capitalizing on that, hopefully.
Good.
With some eyes.
Yeah, we had him on Point Dabble Point on Monday.
That's great.
And Joey C, he's getting a lot of shit on the internet from people. Rightfully so.
I was wondering what your take was. Okay, rightfully so.
Yeah, he did not handle that situation real well. Especially because when he lied about it afterwards, just like, oh, no, that guy was just a grifter, and he got up and walked away. He was fine. Like, you never said that on your stream. You never brought that up once. All you did was tell people to call an ambulance. You gave them the specific location to send the ambulance to. So I don't know if that story checks out.
Either way, he didn't set a good example for his many fans.
No, he did not.
If he wants to poise himself as a leader, that was not what you want to project.
Now, is he gunning down people on the strip? No.
Not that we know of.
No, not while it's running.
He wouldn't get away with it. He would get caught. So he could be a worse streamer, I suppose. But I can't think of who third or fourth place would be.
It just makes me happy when people that chase viral videos so aggressively have them in the least way they intended.
Yes. Yeah, not on their terms. That's like Opie with the cake stomping.
exactly
And
what
I
I thought.
brought that up to him on Point Dabble Point. It's like, this will probably cycle around and come back every few years. People see it for the first time and you'll get shit all over again because it happens to Opie. I don't think Opie appreciates it.
He does not.
No, he's not a fan of it. All right, without further ado, I think we should get this show started because, like I said, we have a lot to get to. The way to us up is to go to supertip.gg/WATP or to super chat us here on YouTube if you're a fan of tripping people up and that sort of thing. I don't think people who watch this show are like that, though.
No.
They're cool.
Good people.
They're good people. You guys are cool.
Carl's country.
You see, this is a we just do it kind of show.
Episode
629.
Are you a boner guy?
Oh, I was a boner guy.
You know what? I miss penis.
What are you talking about?
I'm the one who should apologize.
Is it going to be absolutely riveting? Is it going to change your life by any stretch? Probably not, but it's going to be at least entertaining, okay?
By the way, for those people that are in the back, remember to shut the fuck up.
Mental illness can literally drive you crazy.
I've been dying to say that.
Cuz-a-roo. Slap-a-rooney.
It's showtime.
WATP.
WATP.
Hello, Rubber Dicks and Cuzzaroos. Welcome to another episode of Who Are These Podcasts, the only show that is not afraid to clown the Jews. I'm your host, Carl. With me every Wednesday, a man who spreads himself more than Ashley Cummings. It's Adam Bush.
What an intro. Thank you for that.
Producer Chris is here as well.
Oh, good.
Hey,
Please go to whoaretheses.com. That's your email address, voicemail number, link to the subreddit, link to our Discord server, link to our merchandise, link to our YouTube channel, and that link to Patreon and Supercast featuring 2 exclusive bonus episodes every month. You also get the bonus material when you sign up here on YouTube. We just did a bonus show yesterday, Living in the Past with Stuttering John, episode 12. We went back and we checked out another episode of the Stuttering John podcast from 2018. But we also found a little gem, a 2017 interview John did with the Joe Coy and the Koi Pond podcast over on Podcast One in Adam Kroll Studios.
that was a nice surprise.
Yes, and we got a little of the way through that. We'll have more to do in future episodes, but that is worth checking out. John in 2017, so much different than every year since.
It's always great watching it unfold in real time as people figure John out.
Yes, Joe Coy was just like, I don't know what I'm laughing at. John was saying ridiculous shit about his sister's vagina and didn't know what to make of him. So that's worth checking out. We appreciate you guys supporting the program by supporting us on Patreon. Patreon is a great place to support us because not only do you get the links to all the videos and you can watch them live or after the fact, you also get a little RSS link you put in your podcast player, and all of the bonus shows, including all of the past bonus shows, show up right there, and you can go and listen to them anytime you would like to. We always put the audio versions out of the bonus shows, as well as my appearances with the Drew Lane show, and whenever I do this little piggy or Point Dabble Point, all of that shows up on our Patreon, and you can listen to it at your leisure. Speaking of Drew Lane, we are live in Detroit at the Magic Bag for the 4th year in a row. If you go to themagicbag.com, you'll find tickets. VIP sold out immediately. There's no VIP tickets left. And tickets are selling very quickly for that. The great Dave Landau will be joining us in Detroit. His home stomping ground. And, of course, the Drew Lane Show, all those guys, Brandon, Mark Fellhauer will be with us. And, of course, the whole crew from WATP. So check that out. And if you're in the Northeast and you haven't purchased your ticket yet, only a handful remain for Boston on June 21st. WATPlive.com is where you want to go. We'll be with Dick Masterson, Johnny, the audio engineer. Adam Bush is making the trip all the way from LA. Maybe he's going to get a ride with Dick and Johnny.
Oh, we'll organize.
Yeah, good idea. And so it's going to be a great time in Boston. June 21st, WTPLive.com for tickets. Also, we encourage our listeners, give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and then shit all over us in the comments section. I see Annie is here. She usually stops by to read some reviews before the show is over. But first, we'll be talking about Steel Toe accusing me of trying to cancel his golf tournament. Tom Myers posted his WATP interview with commentary, kinda. The Fighter and the Kid, episode 2 from Texas, and I'm pretty sure they hate Texas. I have some examples of that. Skinny Chad finally released my interview with him. Break that down. Maddox tries to shut down our Boston show. Talk about that. Adam was a guest with KC Armstrong, former producer of The Howard Stern Show, if there's time. That got bumped last week. If there's time, we'll get to that this week.
Might happen again. It just might happen.
Stuttering John interviewed on the Sports Web last weekend. And we also found a podcast from 2017 that just surfaced where John was interviewed about his divorce. It's a whole show about divorce, and John talks about Susanna and what happened with their relationship. Also, another round of 2 minutes with Tom, reviews, and voicemails. But first, aside from Joey C not helping someone with a serious medical emergency, and aside from the YouTuber who was gunned down streaming while another YouTuber was streaming and gunning him down, the most viral thing that happened recently was Dave Portnoy versus Kirk Minahan. We have the whole saga to dissect and discuss. The Unnamed Show is the podcast that is hosted by Kirk Minahan, Dave Portnoy, and Ryan Whitney, a Barstool production. And these guys get on once a week and talk life, politics, sports. It's a guy show. It's guy stuff.
Guy stuff.
You know how that works. Well, they got into it because Dave Portnoy had this incident occur at a restaurant that he owns, where you can, when you get bottle service, you can have a little sign show up above your table and write whatever you want on it. And some guy wrote, "Kill the Jews." Oh. And so Dave was not happy about that, kicked him out, and made a pretty big fuss about it. Went online, talked about who the guy was, offered him a trip to Auschwitz to try to change his mind about his stance on things, and changed his mind on that. Well, anyway, so Dave's very sensitive about the plight of the Jews right now. I don't know if you know what's going on in the world, but there's people out to harm them for various reasons. And so he doesn't have a good sense of humor.
Do you want to explain the reasons, or do we want to?
Yeah, well, we'll
backstory.
Letting Hamas in on October 7th.
Number 10.
Anyway, I'm kidding. So it starts off, they're talking about making jokes about Jewish people. And for whatever reason, Dave has decided that this is not a free speech issue, even though Dave talks about everything. Dave Portnoy over the years, holy shit, controversial figure, and never apologizes for shit. But this one's hitting close to home, I guess.
His first reaction is to go to, "Hey, Rabbi Portnoy, relax. You made jokes, you're saying 20 years ago. Are you out of your mind? Are you that demented?"
Someone on Twitter referred to him as Rabbi Portnoy. That really set him off on this one. And this was a guy that I guess Kirk was going to have on the show to debate with Dave, and Dave was not having that.
Are you that demented of what's going on in the world right now?
I'm fully aware of what's...
You're comparing those two things.
I'm fully aware of what's going on in the
comparing
world.
a joke for 20 years ago with what's going on right now in the world.
No, that's
you
my
can't
point.
See the difference.
My point is,
can you see the difference?
They're words. That's my point.
Okay.
They are words. They are words. No, honestly, a guy on Twitter tweeted...
When does freedom of speech become...
A guy tweeting at you. You asked me the question. A guy
when
tweeting
does
Rabbi
freedom
Portnoy,
of speech impose on freedom of religion?
I find to be harmless. Some guy tweeted you Rabbi Portnoy.
When does freedom of speech impose on freedom of religion? How many people have to get murdered?
It's a good question.
How many people have to get murdered? Jokes don't kill people. Dave seems to have this very confused. It reminds me of the Netflix protest over Dave Chappelle, where it's like Dave Chappelle is causing trans people to be drug out into the street and murdered. It's like, no. Jokes don't do that. That's not how that works at all. It's not like someone is like, I'm wishy-washy on the Jews. I'm not sure what to think. And then someone makes a really good joke and they're like, oh yeah, we should definitely start a war against those people. That's a pretty good joke. Doesn't make any sense. This is what he's arguing right now with Kirk Minahan. And Kirk concedes right here that, hey, I am not as passionate about this as you are, obviously. I don't necessarily have a dog in this race, so I understand why you're more passionate about it. And Dave's like not hearing the conversation, is just lashing out at Kirk on this one.
And honestly, I get the issue. I don't get it as well as you do. You're more passionate about it than I am. I understand that.
Oh, I'm sorry. My Jews are getting killed every 3 seconds.
That's not a criticism. That's not a criticism.
You're demented then.
I just said it's not a criticism. I understand why you're sensitive about it. Of course you care about it more than I do.
Kirk,
you care about it more than I do.
Right now, people making Jew jokes is just the same as 15 years ago.
No, but my thing is when you tell people stop making jokes, stop doing this, what does that accomplish?
That's a great question right there. What does that accomplish, telling people not to do something? But it's interesting that Kirk goes, listen, I know I'm not as passionate about this as you are. And all Dave heard was, fuck you, Dave. Yeah. Because he like lashed out at him right back after that. He's like, no, that's not a criticism.
Yeah.
I'm not calling you out.
You're not listening anymore.
Right. But it's also weird that Dave Portnoy thinks that freedom of speech should change based on what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
That's odd.
And how he feels about it.
And how he feels about it.
How it affects him, yeah.
Yeah. That's surprising because I was going to say level-headed. That's probably not the right word, but he's a pretty rational guy, Dave Portnoy. I'm surprised that he would have that thought process.
It seems to be the common thread among every single person we cover, from street buskers to CEOs of corporations, is this quality.
Yeah. So he goes, what is that going to accomplish? Telling people they can't make jokes. We're going to find out. That's coming up in just a moment. That's a teaser. But, Kirk's whole angle is, listen, man, I wanted to have this guy on that pissed you off on Twitter so you could debate him, so that you could make him look foolish on the show.
What I'm saying is you should have him on here or somebody else like that and fucking fight with them, because then you have a conversation.
That's what this idiot wants.
Dave, these guys that wrote the thing at the bar, fuck the Jews, right?
Yes.
You're going to fucking fly them to Auschwitz. Some guy tweets at you something. You want to fucking... He's not...
Kirk,
you can't come on
it was a bar I owned. It was a bar I owned.
They should have been kicked out. So, but my thing is...
No, it's not just kick out, Kirk. Are you ignoring what's going on in the world
No,
right
I'm
now?
not. What, Dave, what do you want to do to those guys? What do you want to do with those guys in the bar? Put them in jail for 50 years? Fine. I don't care.
I didn't say that. You're quite literally changing everything you say. Kirk, if you just want me to kick him out, not mention it, not care that this kid is anti-Semitic, shut up. If you just want me to ignore it.
Don't tell me to shut up.
Shut the fuck up, you bald fuck.
Okay, go ahead.
How's that?
Oh, it's kill. I'll never recover from that, Dave. Go ahead, continue. I'll never recover.
Well, you're the one who big boss man, don't tell. I'll tell you work for me.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
You little bitch, you work for me.
Sure, you bet. For now,
oh, you
continue.
don't? For now, quit. I don't care.
Is this show or not a show? Like, is this a show or not a show? Like, we can't have a conversation?
So as soon as it gets to this point where it's like, you work for me, you're losing the argument.
Oh, yeah.
This reminds me of like Nick Rekieta calling Keanu a dumb bitch over and over and over again. It's just like, okay, you're being very passionate, but you're not really using your words correctly. You're not connecting rational
Your
thoughts.
message is clear. Your approach is a little cloudy.
Yeah, there's not rational thoughts coming out of your mouth when you just start going, you work for me, shut up, fuck you. It's
little bitch.
Yeah. So one more clip on here, and then I'll show you what ends up happening. But jokes are not the problem, in my opinion.
You're an idiot.
Okay, continue.
You're literally saying people should be allowed to make Jew jokes, say whatever they want right fucking now. That's
Yes, I think people should be allowed to make jokes.
So how many motherfucking Jews have to be killed before you stop?
It's so weird.
There was a leap there.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Like he's saying it has to do with freedom of religion, and there's a genocide going on based on joke telling.
Kirk, you're killing Jews.
Yeah, well, that's what he's saying. Like the blood is on your hands for allowing these people to make jokes on the show. So it's interesting here because Des Bryant and Jason Whitlock saw this, and so they tweeted at Dave. Here's Des Bryant, who has 3.4 million followers on Twitter, former wide receiver for the Cowboys. He says, at Stool Presidente, you are a bitch for treating your employees like that. Shit is not cool at all. This is what entitled looks like, folks. And this is obviously the meltdown where he's saying, you work for me, shut the fuck up. So Dave responds to this tweet, of course. And Dave posts a video and says, hey, at Des Bryant and Fatboy Whitlock Jason, Here is your poor little helpless Kirky boy. How could Dave be so mean to Kirk? Never gets old making fools out of fools. And he posts this video, and I'll show you what this video shows because it's interesting. A couple days after this back and forth that they had on the unnamed show, Kirk Minihane is having it out with his producer, Justin, on the Kirk Minahan show. And it's an interesting argument that they have.
You won't live a real life. You're a fucking baby. Look, you yelled at me earlier this week, so shut your fucking mouth.
Okay.
You work for me, fat boy.
Correct.
You work for me. So you fuck up like that, and I give you a fucking pass. That's way bigger fucking loyalty than something with Mick or something with your pretend girlfriend or any of that bullshit. So you should look at the real stuff and not the fake stuff. Instead of that and act like a pouty fucking baby all week. You're a fucking complete zero to me. You're fucking dead to me. You can sit there and your fat ass in there until you fucking die and act like, oh, Kirk to me. But fuck you. Fuck you. That could have fucked us, and you did it on purpose. I don't agree with you. You're a fucking liar, too. You're a fucking liar.
Not a liar.
You're a fucking liar. You did that on purpose to try and fuck me over. And I still kept you on the fucking job. So you should say thank you every fucking time you look at me. Do you understand me?
Sure.
So what?
Thank you.
Yeah, so shut your fucking mouth.
Okay.
Do you understand me?
Yes.
Okay? I've been taking all week from you for no fucking reason.
Oh, no
None.
reason.
None.
Reason.
Shut your fucking mouth or you'll be fucking fired. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth.
Fire me then.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Fire me then.
You want to be fired? Would you like that? Would you like that?
I know. I
well, then
know.
shut the fuck up.
Well, I'm
then
not
shut
shutting.
the fuck up.
I'm on
then
the show.
Shut the
So
fuck
fire
up.
me then.
So Dave's response to, hey, Dave, you shouldn't treat employees like that is, yeah, but I was treating this asshole employee like that. He treats his employees like that, so it's all good. I don't know if that's the right answer.
A little trickle down.
Yeah, right. I don't know if that's the right answer. Like, maybe you've created an environment at your company.
It's called a cycle of abuse.
Now, what's Fat Boy going to do? Goes home.
He goes home, kicks the dog.
Yeah, right. Jeez.
You
None
work
of
for
this
me,
is good for
mother-
the Jews at all. You know, none of this helps.
No, this is not helping out the Jewish people
I
at
don't
all,
know
Adam?
for a fact, but it doesn't seem like any of this is. No.
Well, I thought that was a weird response from Dave to be like, don't feel bad for Kirk. He's also a dick, and post that video. But underneath that response from Dave Portnoy, our buddy Royce from Revenge of the Sis, he's been on the show before. We've done a live show together. He has a nice response on here. He goes, Dave, how are you so dumb that you can't see how this temper tantrum is only going to make things worse for you? Do you know how the internet works? You're not going to be able to do a pizza review now. See the F her in the pussy trend. Michael Angelo, who used to work for Barstool and becomes a part of the story that we're going to see in momentarily, writes, Dave, have you ever heard the expression two wrongs don't make a right? Now, what Royce is saying here is this is a really dumb thing to tell people what they can and cannot joke about, because there'll be people who want to fuck with you who joke about it when they wouldn't have. And enters Crack-A-Miko. Now, Crack-A-Miko is a rapper. We've played him on the show before. He goes pretty hard in the paint against Bert Kreischer, and he calls out a lot of people. He does a lot of things with Gas Digital and Skankfest and stuff like that. Very funny guy. And this was the video he just dropped yesterday or the day before. He just dropped this for a little response for Dave and his back and forth with Kirk about whether you can make jokes about Jewish people. Adam's going to love this. Have you seen this yet, Adam?
Nope.
All right. Well, get ready to react.
Don't tell me to shut up. Don't
Shut the fuck up, you bald fuck. Oh, big boss man, don't tell. I'll tell you, you work for me.
Okay, go ahead.
You
Continue.
little bitch. You work for me.
Sure, you bet. For now.
Oh, you
Continue.
don't?
Okay, continue.
You're literally saying people should be allowed to make Jew jokes, say whatever they want. Why you fucking now?
Yes, I think people should be allowed to make jokes.
So how many motherfucking Jews have to be killed before you stop?
Hey, you can joke about death, you can joke about rape, you can joke about Indians and dead babies, laughing at whatever the fuck that you wanna. Only one thing is sacred, that's Davey. Don't joke about Jews, nah. Don't joke about Jews, hey. Don't joke about Jews, don't joke about Jews, don't joke about Dave. You can laugh about blacks, you can laugh about gays, you can laugh about immigrants in them cages. Joke about anything on this earth, but if it's about Jews, then you might as well save it, bitch. Don't joke about Jews, nah. Don't joke about Jews, hey. Don't joke about Jews, don't joke about Jews, don't joke about Jews, don't joke about David, you are a hoe. homo, retarded shlomo, dishing what you can't take. Portnoy, the Jewish faggot, stop trying to drag it. Mad at the jokes we make. El Rey's the rente is losing his mind. Loading my Glock, got him screaming out 9. How about I tell you some jokes, Mrs. Portnoy, and you tell me what's over the line? All of you people controlling the media, changing the weather, controlling our minds. Hollywood pedophile lawyers and slum lords that would do anything for a dime. What if I said something that you ain't like? What if I called you a kike? What if I noticed somehow you make money whenever a colored man spits in a mic? What if I told you that Israel is evil and it's time to rise up and free Palestine? Or maybe all parties involved are retarded and things would be better if all of them died. Especially the children, I hate them the most. Raise up your glass, I'm proposing a toast in honor of freedom to make any joke even though there's a victim within every roast. You could joke about death, you could joke about rape.
Okay, so obviously this is extremely offensive, and that's the point, is to be like, yeah, nothing's off. This is like the South Park point. If something's off limits, everything's off limits. Yep. So you have to reel them back in and be like, you got to remember, I know there's bad things happening, but you can't end free speech over it. It's a very important tenet to being free and having liberty. This part of the song right here is he's dancing with Ghislaine and Jeffrey Epstein as he's dressed up in his rabbi outfit.
You could joke about Indians and dead babies, laughing at whatever the fuck that you wanna. Only one thing is sacred, that's Davey.
Yeah, there is a visual component to this that is interesting as well. So if you're listening to the show and you want to check this out, Crack Amico, the Dave Portnoy diss, I'd recommend. Some salty language in there, but I get the point. I think that Dave kind of made this happen. This is the exact end product of Dave saying you can't make jokes about Jewish people during the current situation.
Politics aside, I think the flow is undeniable.
It is. Crack Amico's good. He's good at what he does.
Unfortunately, I think Dave really undermined any argument he might have had when he had to remind them of the dynamic of being their boss.
Yes.
Does he have a heavy Adderall addiction?
That I don't know. I'm not going to speculate.
Because I've seen it before, and it looks a lot like that, where you just are angry and you cannot let it go. And I get that what's happening, if anybody does any real research as to what's happening over there right now, it'll fuck you up and make you sensitive. Yes. I get it. But what he's doing was just about him venting. It wasn't about teaching or helping or anything. And the idea that those are his employees and he's expecting to have a rational conversation where he's going to have an open debate back and forth. You're their boss, man. It's on camera.
Yeah, I appreciated, he made a comment during one of the clips we played where he's like, I'll let you go, man. It'll save me $500,000 a year, calling out Kirk and what his salary is. And Kirk goes, are we doing a show right now or is this real? Like, what are we doing?
Good question.
Because the argument got like real personal and real shitty. We're just like, and I want to play what happened on the episode today. Mm-hmm. So earlier today, these two come back together. We all want to see like, okay, what's the aftermath of this? What are they going to say about it?
You regret last week when you said you thought it might get clipped. That's why you didn't want to say anything. Turns out you were wrong. It was barely clipped at all. It was only 70 billion fucking things.
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously really mad.
Never seen you that mad.
No, I've been mad like that.
I know. I haven't seen
blind Mike. Blind Mike can get me into that.
It's just the Minihane world that makes you that.
You
mad.
just don't yell. You just don't yell at employees like that, Dave. That's not.
I do.
I don't. That's all I would do.
Thank you, Kirk, for losing it on Justin.
I gave
2
you
days
one.
later.
I gave you.
So I love that Kirk, they're laughing about it now. He's like, the only time I get that mad is when blind Mike pisses me off, which is fun. We'll get more into that in just a second.
And I love that the joke is abuse. We're abusing these people that are
right. Yeah. I can't believe you treated the employee like that. Am I
too,
right,
buddy? You too.
We
Come
both
on,
do
anyway.
It. So Kirk goes on to say after this, he's like, dude, I don't care that you yell at me. It doesn't bother me. I have thick skin. I don't care. I wasn't upset about that. But he did think it was funny that Jason Whitlock and Des Bryant were coming to his defense on that. And I guess after they saw Kirk screaming at his employee, they weren't as on board after that. So Ryan Whitney, who hasn't talked once in all of these viral clips, poor guy.
Smart guy.
Is not a part of this at all. He explains that Dave is getting crushed online. The sentiment is very much against Dave Portnoy's idea that there should be no jokes.
It was, but even for this was like mega viral. This just went everywhere. That
correct.
Thing. Yeah, it was.
But I mean,
crazy.
I actually have never seen Dave
for 2 days, like you were getting bludgeoned on tweets. I'm like, holy shit, is this the end of him?
Please, I get bludgeoned 24/7
now. No.
Yes, I do. Wit.
So Dave's going, it's nothing. Everyone's always against me all the time, which there is some reality to. He does cause controversy from time to time when there's videos of him spitting in a young girl's mouth while they're having intercourse, things like that. We'll get people talking about Dave Portnoy some. He's no stranger to this. The last clip I have on here is fascinating. So I mentioned that tweet response from Michelangelo. So Michelangelo used to work for Barstool. He was part of a group of people who were laid off. And he's been taking shots at Portnoy since then. And so that's what he's talking about at the beginning of this clip. And then listen to where it goes to. Good friend of the show here.
He was so bad, he couldn't even do the rundown. I had to fire him from the rundown. But I didn't fire him for the company because you really have to stink to do that. But he just whines. Why? For 3 years. I don't know how long he hasn't worked here. But he's one of those guys, a little blind Mike-ish. He'll
Absolutely.
pipe up, say something, and then he'll be like, why you get...
Watch Kirk here, because Kirk is just taking Dave's side against Blind Mike the whole time, and it's very funny. It's very tongue-in-cheek, but I don't think Dave feels that way, but I know what Kirk's doing here.
Mad at me. Like, what did I do?
It's like, Mike's been killing you on this. Like, who's the old Dave Portnoy? No free speech. Like,
I haven't
it's
seen
been bad.
Thank God. I try to avoid it because I know, like, Blind Mike's one of those rare individuals. I hate him so much. The thought of him triggers me. Thinking about it when he was sitting in Melton with that magnifying glass because he can't see the computer, working, literally getting like, hey, can you do this thing? It takes him all day because he can't see. And being like so bad at his job that he couldn't work here, not because he's blind, because he sucks. And then he's always lobbing grenades and then being like, woe is me.
Yeah.
He just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's been bad.
I love that they come back. They're like, let's talk about this viral moment we had and all the backlash you're getting. And it turns into Dave ripping on Blind Mike for 60 seconds straight. So I did reach out to Mike to get him on the show today to hear his thoughts on this. He couldn't make it tonight, but he will be doing a full rundown on the Blind Mike project this Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern. So check that out. It's always great. And thanks to Turbo7049 for giving me a heads up that Blind Mike got brought up on the show today. So I went and checked that out. The Dave Blind Mike thing is very funny to me because Alex Stein, when I was over on his show, was like, oh, talking to me about Blind Mike. I'm like, oh yeah, Blind Mike's great. But Alex's whole angle was, can you get him to connect me and Dave Portnoy? Because Dave Portnoy's mad at me and I want to make up with him. And I'm like, well, Blind Mike can't help you there, man. Dave hates Blind Mike. And you saw it right there.
It really undermines his
fan.
argument about the larger issues when the two things that trigger him are Israel and Blind Mike.
Yeah, it's a good point. Both of those things really piss him off. And that Michelangelo guy, too.
But he's totally chill when those things aren't brought up, right?
Well, when he's got a slice of pizza, he's fine. Okay. He could be calm when that sort of thing's going on. But yeah, I guess when Mike worked for him, I asked Mike, I'm like, well, give me more details. And I don't know the full story, obviously. But I guess when Mike was working at Barstool for Dave, Kirk would be critical of things about Barstool, and Mike would agree with them and talk about those things. And I think Dave thought, like, Kirk can get away with that shit. He's earned it. You not so much. you don't criticize this organization, motherfucker, and everything that I've built. So I think he kind of rubbed Dave the wrong way in his tenure there.
That sounds like the kind of environment you could have a really robust and open-minded political discussion.
Probably not. Probably not. We got a lot of stuff to get to today. I got some Chad Zumach stuff. I got Steel Toe, The Fighter and the Kid, Tom Myers, Skinny Chad, Stuttering John stuff to get to. So much. But first, let's get distracted by these people who are trying to ruin the show by going to supertip.gg/WATP, trying to screw up the flow like Echo Pineapple over here.
Hey, Adam, ready to discuss baseball audio issues, how to avoid jail, and what my AI found out about you on IMDb.
I hate you, Carl.
You said it all, Pineapple.
Understood. Yes, Adam will be on with Joey C tomorrow Will that be live?
That will, I think so,
On
maybe.
his channel? Yeah, I think so.
Is that what he usually does?
I think so. He's been off for a little while. Dame Taft, $2. Adam, have you booked yourself on Topic Time yet?
No, I need to do that, actually. Maybe this month I will reach out. Thank you for reminding me, Dame Taft.
We will be in Boston.
And is that where he's out of?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Great. Okay, I will. Thank you.
I don't know if you've heard his accent. I'm me. I've always been me since 5 years old. $5. Portnoy is a rational guy. Only the 10th dumbest thing Carl has said in the last week. Okay, I'll put it at the top 10. Fair enough. Associate producer Ralph. That's what Carl does to me when my game is late. Yes, that is true. I get very upset with associate producer Ralph when I don't have my 2 minutes with Tom. Steve Morton, $5. You work for me, bitch. Carl's directive towards Chris and Adam before the stream starts. I'm nasty behind the scenes, man. You don't want to be around me before or after the show. It's rough.
You're right, boss. We don't. Wait, no. I mean,
I don't know what you're talking
about.
One angry K something.
I get it.
Everyone knows the rules.
Oh.
Thanks, Hellraiser69. No, thank you guys for the support. We got a lot of stuff to get to, and I want to go right over to our
Cringe of the week. Cringe of the week.
Cringe of the week comes in from Zach. And I don't know if you guys saw this. I know that Patrick Melton talked about it on his show yesterday, but Anthony Cumia came on the Anthony Cumia show, and he goes, I'm watching one of these live streamers that just the whole show is about him making money. And I fell asleep. It was so boring. I couldn't keep my eyes open watching this guy. It's not even a show. He's just talking about how you can give money to his show, and it's not a show. And so I guess Chad assumes that that's about him. So Chad responds to that about Anthony, and this is from Hackverse Anonymous. Oh, is it gone? Or did I do something wrong? I probably did something wrong. That'd be my guess.
Maybe Hackverse Anonymous took the site down to fuck with you because they knew you'd be using this.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? All right, so Chad has some serious audio issues. He's going to need some tech support again soon. He's having some issues.
This is your show. This is your show. You put people to sleep. We've all been talking how boring your show is. Everybody. Your show is as boring as a fucking crab race.
What?
I mean, it's fucking dull as fuck.
Is that a saying?
No.
That's more boring than a crab race. What's he talking about? I love that Chad's response to what he thinks Anthony was saying about him, his show being boring, is your show's boring. That's all you got?
That's Chad for you.
That's Chad for you. The criticism was that the show was all about giving you money. If it was about you, it was about how you're on there going, yeah, I got demonetized. Now I'm remonetized, but I also have super tips set up. You can also, you can't super chat me yet, but you can get a membership and you can gift memberships. This is what Anthony was talking about. And Chad's response is, you're boring.
And Anthony doesn't say who he's talking about.
He does not.
So Chad.
And it could be Steel Toe. It could be MLC. It's a lot of these shows do this.
Why would someone think it was about them if their show wasn't boring?
It's pretty telling, isn't it?
Yes.
When someone goes, man, I watched this guy online and he's a jerk. I'm like, talking about me?
Turns out, yes.
What the fuck? It's a weird response.
Do not drive when listening to this person's podcast show. It would.
It's the same as yours.
It's the same as yours.
We're the same.
Broadcasting legend Anthony Cumia from the Opie and Anthony show. I do the exact same show as you do, Anthony. Right. This is like reminds you of when he was promoting his Patreon, and he goes, "Guys, Tim Dillon's making $200,000 a month. I'm like Tim Dillon. Give me $200,000 a month. You're not."
Yeah, even at his lowest, Cumia never had a show called Howard Stern's Cucks.
Right. Well, he's rebranding. This is interesting. I just learned this today. That it was going to be Z-Man versus the World, which is hilarious because we found out he got the idea from Jim Florentine, who was just over at my house recording a segment called Tom Myers versus the rest of the world.
Right.
So Jim's fucking with Chad, in my opinion. I know they're friends, but I think he's fucking with him. Like, what? Make it Z-Man versus the world, you know? So Chad was going to do that. He's been promoting this new branding and stuff. He's decided he's not going to do that. He's going to change the name to something else now. I guess he got clowned too much. Realize it's stupid.
Mud Shark versus the rest of the world.
Right, something like that.
Everybody hates Chad.
Same as yours. Everything's the same.
But boy, if you need to go to sleep, and I don't even want to, I'm not giving any of the shills and grifters the satisfaction of even mentioning a name.
Just say me. Just say me.
Yeah,
bitch.
you want it.
Yeah.
Do you
Very
see why he
critical
didn't do
part
that?
because-
Chad, do you see why he didn't name you?
Gotcha.
Because you're doing this, and Kevin's doing this, and Aaron's doing this, and probably Quad Father. There's probably a bunch of people who think they're talking about, guys that Anthony is not even paying attention to. Like, oh, he's probably talking about me.
For all we know, Anthony didn't listen to any show. He's just like sick of the concept of a boring show.
Yes. And he knew this would get everyone to react.
Yeah.
And Chad bought it. Love it.
I'm on the super tip system that is a big major talking point because Melton's taken away my AI voices and taken away from my income, making sure I'm not on the leaderboard anymore. And he'll probably take away super tips. So yeah, it's an issue. And at the time I wasn't monetized. Today I am. Still not getting super chats. But you can gift memberships.
No, thank God.
You can.
You earned it, Chad. We'll get into more of that, by the way. What Chad did to fuck up Super Tip. It's pretty amazing. Only Chad could do this. We have all these people now on Super Tip. Everyone's doing fine with it. There's just one guy who couldn't handle it.
But imagine getting feedback from a random person who got your gifted membership. Hey, fuck you. This show sucks.
Well, since we're talking about Steel Toe here a little bit, I just wanted to address this because Steel Toe says some fucking wild shit, man. And it just goes unchecked all the time. There's no one who calls him out on this stuff. And every now and again, we have to remind him that he's completely full of shit and has no idea what he's talking about.
Please, guys, Streamlabs, PayPal, Super Chats, Rumble Rants, Venmo. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we don't deserve it.
So Johnny Crutches is on the show, and Johnny Crutches doesn't know anything about anything. So he typically doesn't open his mouth. His role is more to be a guy who looks like he's dozing off while Aaron is passionately talking about nonsense. But in this clip that I have, he actually thinks he understands what's going on with Chad and Super Tip, which is laughable.
And so you were saying something about, like, I guess Chad got cheated? Like, and I'm sitting here listening to this. I'm like, oh, thank Christ, never did. Apparently, you have to let Melton access your computer to sign up for super tips.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I get it. I have multiple sclerosis and a doctor's note saying I'm retarded. But do people think I'm literally that retarded? I'm not giving anyone access to my computer. This super tips thing just sounds like the scariest, like the stupidest. Like, oh, I wonder if I could give a complete untrustworthy piece of shit a backdoor into all of my stuff.
Well, now, in fairness, the only reason it takes off, the only reason any of this takes off, pure hatred of Steel Toe.
Could these guys be more myopic? He thinks the only reason why Super Tip is a system people use is because of him. Aaron, you have nothing to do with Super Tip. Absolutely nothing to do with it. Bubba the Love Sponge is on it, and Perry Caravello, and a whole bunch of people who are not part of the Dabbleverse at all, and even people who don't give a shit about you who are in the Dabbleverse are using Super Tip. Now, what Johnny doesn't understand, the reason why Patrick Melton had a remote into Chad's computer is because Chad is retarded. He doesn't understand basic instructions. Everyone else who got set up on Super Tip, including myself, were able to figure it out. We didn't have to have Patrick and Moody log into our computers and click the buttons for us. And so they hear that Chad did that, and they go, oh, that's how you get on Super Tip. You have to give Melton all your passwords and access to your storage account and cloud storage and all the files and email addresses, passwords. Obviously not the case. That's ridiculous. Patrick Melton was doing Chad a solid by spending 90 minutes with him, remoting into his computer to get this set up for him because Chad was freaking out about monetization. So he did him a favor. And these
what
idiots.
Did they say that? Sorry, what do they say that Melton's going to do? He's going to get in there. The point is for him to get into everyone's computers, and then what?
Well, I think what he's going to do is he's going to put viruses on everyone's computers, and then he just has a kill switch. So if they get on their show and they start talking shit, he just, boom, computer's done. Locked forever. He'll never get in it again.
I think it was Cardiff that said that he can reroute the bank accounts so that all the money comes into somebody else's account instead of theirs. You can do that remotely too.
Remember when John thought that his, the 21st was coming around, and he thought that all his YouTube money was going to go into Cardiff's bank account? It's like, what kind of world do these people live in where they think any of this is a possibility? And are they that dumb? Do they think their audience is that dumb? I think Johnny is that dumb. I don't think he knows what the fuck he's talking about, but he's talking. And I love these guys because they believe whoever is against the people they don't like, hence believing Chad Zumock, the man who lies more times per minute than anyone I've ever met.
The Chad Zumock thing, I think, is a perfect example. Chad got his monetization taken away on YouTube. He signs up for the super tips. He bends the knee. He says one critical thing of Patrick on MLC, and Patrick takes away a bunch of his voices and stops giving him technical support because Patrick can't handle being mocked because, again, Patrick is projection. His whole, feel thing, people feel. Bro, we all make you feel way more like the rest of us don't think about you.
You bring him up all the time. You're bringing him up now. I've seen countless examples. I mean, we get into this on this little pig here. If you watch Nobody Likes Onions, we don't do as much on WATP about Aaron. But there's so many times the conversation is about something completely different. And Aaron will just be like, yeah, and Patrick Melton is going to say blah, 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 blah. And it's like, whoa, what's going on in the back of your head that you're bringing him up? And now he's trying to say that we don't think about you at all, Patrick Melton. It's become a focal point of every episode of the show that he does. But they believe Chad Zumock. And that, Chad, all he did was say one little thing about Patrick, and then Patrick freaked out and took away all of his voices and everything. What happened was, I'll explain this real quick. Mm-hmm. Patrick went out of his way to help out Chad when Chad needed a friend, needed someone to help him out because he lost his monetization. And as a result of that, Chad made hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I don't know the exact amount. If you go to those shows, he was streaming 2 or 3 times a day because the money just kept coming in and Chad couldn't help. He was so excited. And he was loving it. He's like, this is so fun. This is amazing. He was loving the super tip system. He's getting all this money from it. And then what does he do? He goes on MLC and starts calling out Patrick Melton and saying all this shit about him. Where Patrick's just like, well, dude, I just did you a favor. I'm allowing you to use this system that you needed at that time, and you immediately turn around and talk shit to be friends with Kevin Brennan again. So Patrick's like, all right, well, I don't need to do you any more favors. I'm not going to help you with any more tech support because that's not part of this system. You don't sign a contract that gives you so many hours of tech support. And he goes, also, the AI voices, everyone generates their own AI voices. When you go to supertip.gg/WATP, which I see some of you are doing right now, and I appreciate that, you'll see Adam Bush is in there and Dr. Steve and guys from Who Are These Socials like Woke Dad and John Sarasani. And like we have all these voices that are part of the WATP and Who Are These Worlds that we use with Supertip. Chad developed none of these. He just goes, yep, I'll take Cardiff. No, not Cardiff. He won't take Cardiff. I'll take a Tukey and I'll take a Melton. I'll take Carl and I'll take. And so he didn't develop these voices. They're not his. So Patrick just goes, all right, you can just have your voices. He's got 3 right now. Which
it's like a soundboard.
It's how it works. and I even heard Patrick talking about this where he goes, people ask for voices that have already been developed. And guys like Perry Caravello are like, no, you can't have my voices. Those are my voices. They want it to be exclusive to his channel. Makes sense. Mm-hmm. If I want to talk as Evil Tukey, I have to go to this show to do it, or that show to do it. Kind of makes sense. But these guys have turned this all into, it's all, Patrick's so sensitive and he's being such a little bitch that he took all this stuff away from Chad. He did nothing but tons of favors, bent over backwards, it's hunchback over backwards to help Chad out when he needed help. And Chad couldn't help himself. Couldn't go a weekend without calling Patrick out for it.
He creates this stuff for himself. He really does. I was trying to figure out why the next day he was screaming that Patrick took away all his voices. I only have these 3 left. He doesn't want me to have these voices. And I remember thinking, why? Why would he, what would be in it for him to do that? Both Chad and KB have no experience in things going well, so they're just so waiting for that other shoe to drop. If it doesn't happen, they just drop it themselves and go, see, I knew it.
Yep. Yeah, Chad should have Chrissy Mayer on there and Anthony Cumia and like all of the cucks on his, I don't know what the rebrand's going to be, but he should have these voices on his show. And instead he just grabs all the things that we had already developed for our shows. And these guys don't understand any of it. Aaron, earlier on in this episode, was talking about how there were people calling up the, where they're having the golf tournament. They were calling up, I don't know if it's a country club. It's probably not a country club, but whatever it is, public golf course. People were calling it up and asking questions about Aaron's golf tournament because it's happening on the Sunday, the weekend of his 11th anniversary, where they're doing a cornhole tournament and then a comedy show and then karaoke. And then the next day there's a golf tournament. And so people are calling and asking about the golf tournament. And from what I've heard, the golf course is like, we don't know anything about a golf tournament because Aaron didn't actually create a golf tournament with the golf course. He just grabbed a bunch of tee times and he's just going to run it himself. So he got a call from the golf course saying like, yeah, we're getting calls asking about this tournament. And so he goes on and says this.
Oh, so I apologize to Patrick and Moody and Carl and all of your fans. You took another shot. You know, you failed a lot with the toe, but you took another shot. You did miss again, but hey, you haven't given up. And that's what's important.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So let's look at it this way. You've technically lost nothing. You're just right back where you started.
Hey, you guys, look, if you hadn't called at all, you would have gotten the same result, but there would have been no effort. So congratulations.
All right. I wonder what it's like to be my enemy. I'm up to so much nefarious stuff behind the scenes all the time. It's all I consume myself with is trying to get people's gigs canceled and calling up golf courses in Minnesota and pranking them and trying to fuck with Aaron's event. Where is this coming from? This is the opposite of anything that I ever do. And I get lumped into that. Like, oh yeah, this was my plan to get your event shut down. I not only want your event to happen, I want a bunch of dabblers there filming it from every angle.
Absolutely.
I'll do the editing myself. I'll piece it all together. We'll watch it for days on this show. Aaron loves to say that we tried to get a show canceled. We want to get a show canceled. We're mad. We're seething because he's still on the air. We want you doing 2 shows a day. We want you stretching out 5-6 hour long programs because you're desperate for money. And that's all you can do to make money is just stay online. He doesn't understand the motivation at all that what we're doing over here, it seems.
Never stop gaslighting, Aaron.
Right.
It's also wish fulfillment because I don't think he wants to do these shows or these events. I think he's been checked out for a long time. And it's almost like, John, you don't want me to do stand-up. You're going to kick me off the internet. He just wants to go.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to organize these events. We saw that last year, his big 10th anniversary. There was going to be the roast of Aaron. He was going to bring all these people in that were on the show before, and then that fell apart. And then he was going to bring all these radio stations in, and that fell apart. And then he was going to do, all these different things, and it turned into just a shit show of drunk people chanting, and Aaron having nothing figured out. Johnny Crutch is not able to get off the stage. Like He doesn't know how to organize these events. That's what we love about them. I would never try to get one of these things shut down.
I'll do you one better. He wanted to fight everyone in Vegas.
That's right.
And we were willing to do it for him, organize it for him.
Correct.
And he found a way out of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Rocco was going to Safe Sport, figuring out what the credentials he needed and what we all needed to do in order to be able to legally face him in the ring.
And Aaron's like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
No, Aaron said that we all backed down. Aaron just creates his own. It's a weird world to live in. And I have one more example here where Aaron's a tough guy to follow because he lives in a fantasy world and he speaks to it as if it's reality. And I don't know if he's trying to wish it into existence or if he's gaslighting his audience or if he says it enough times, it'll soothe him and he'll feel better about what's actually happening. So the big news right now in his world is that this guy, Gabe Hoffman, is going to be interviewed on Keanu's show tomorrow night. And Gabe Hoffman has digged up some dirt apparently on Nick Rekieta, and they're going to go on there and show what a bad guy Nick Rekieta is. And so Aaron on his show today is talking about how Nick is trying to get out in front of it. And Nick is on his stream talking about Gabe Hoffman and what they might be talking about and trying to say, like, if they say that I'm abusive to my family or my kids, it's just not true. Like, that's what Nick is saying. Now, Aaron has also tried to get in front of things often. I'll give you the latest example. When Moody was able to figure out every time he logged into Kiwi Farms, and he saw from a Discord comment that there was going to be something about that, he went on the show and he just goes, hey, and guys, just so you know, like, I open up my phone, my browser, I have 3 tabs open at all times: sports scores, Twitter, and Kiwi Farms. So it might look like I'm going there a lot, but I'm not. You know, he was saying that beforehand. And then we showed the graphs and we proved that, no, you have to go into Kiwi Farms and use it in order for it to register as a ping and show this. And then he dropped it, deleted his account or whatever he has to do to log in, and never talked about it.
He's thinking,
again.
well, I tried.
But he's the king of trying to get out in front of things. And he's criticizing Nick Rekieta here for doing just that. And he just makes shit up. It's an amazing fantasy world that he does. So try to follow this.
He goes, they're going to come out and say, he said this. He goes, they're going to come out and say that I choke slammed my son at the chiropractor. Because somebody in a report claimed that I choke slammed my kid at the chiropractor. Now, I don't think anybody said he choke slammed his kid. I'm guessing somebody probably said they saw him put the hand on his kid's neck up against the wall or something like that.
What?
Much better.
Yeah.
What is going on right now? He just invented that out of nowhere. And what Aaron does is he just builds on these fantasies that he has. So, okay, so now I've established that as fact. So now let's move on and what's going to happen from there. And it just builds and builds and builds.
If there's something that offends them so deeply, why do they keep repeating it over and over again? We didn't need a visual demonstration of what it's like to choke a kid out. We got it. And you said it like 4 times. Yep. You don't need your hand in the camera. What is this obsession? It's weird.
Right. He needs to really drive home the fact that Nick Rekieta is a bad guy.
It's
but first of all, Nick,
effect. It's making us think that he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
If someone said that happened, what motivation did they have to lie? Because that puts them in a really weird, it's a weird spot where now you have to invest time and energy to go talk to people and tell them that.
This is crazy. Aaron just said, and try to wrap your mind around this. Aaron just said if someone accuses someone of doing something, they definitely did it. Because why would anybody lie about anything? Has there ever been a scenario where someone lied about someone doing something that they didn't actually do in order to harm that person or to get away with something? I mean, I guess not.
I can't think of any.
Yeah, so I guess if someone accuses someone of doing something, then they definitely did it. But then Aaron, after saying that, goes, oh, that's right. There was that harassment restraining order that my ex-wife took out against me, where in that court order, it talked about how I headbutted my wife, April, and strangled her so hard she couldn't breathe. Or squeezed her. Not strangled. Squeezed her so hard she couldn't breathe. So Aaron remembers that after saying, if someone accuses someone of something, then they definitely did it. Why would they lie? And now he has to address that.
Who's going to do that?
Who's going to do that?
Who's going to just make that up? I'm sorry, but even in the bullshit that got put out there in that HRO thing, that made up that April bullshit, even with that, I was like, hey, we had a fight. We got really close to each other. I didn't hit her. I didn't squeeze her, choke her, headbutt her, anything. But there was a fight, and we did get really close. We were screaming at each other. Yeah, a fight happened. Something happened. Where there's smoke, there's fire. You don't come out and say, oh, none of that ever happened. It was all made up out of whole cloth. That makes you look like a liar.
See, this is what's so weird about this. I don't understand his argument here.
No.
So he's already made up what this guy Gabe is going to say and what Nick said that he's going to say and that it's not true. We don't know any of this. None of this has happened yet. And he's going on there and going guys, I fessed up. I mean, all the stuff that April said about me was bullshit, but I did fess up that maybe there was something close to that happened. But Nick is a bad guy because he's going to pretend nothing happened when obviously something must have happened. And why else would he be accused of something? And I don't think Aaron's a dumb guy. That's what's so weird about this. When he says shit like this, you're just like, dude, what?
No, he's blinded by his hatred for Nick. He would
Yeah.
chop off his own dick if he thought it would hurt Nick, and he wouldn't understand why everyone was screaming at him. He would just be standing there, holding it in his hand, like, look, we got him.
Got him.
You sure got him, buddy. It's time to go to bed.
Look at his face right here, too. I know Nick's not a great guy. I know that for various reasons. This guy looks like the villain in this scenario. Look at
He
how
really does.
Yeah,
mad
I think there's
evil.
smoke and fire here.
When you come out and get ahead of something and go, hey, this thing that people claim they saw and that multiple people have backed up, well,
now it's not only that this happened, but multiple people have backed it up. We haven't even heard what's going to happen yet. Gabe Hoffman hasn't had this interview yet.
Right, yeah.
This is crazy.
That's his MO, though, man.
Yeah, because you get confused enough as a viewer and you just go, God, yeah, I guess Nick beat his kids then. Jeez, it's awful.
It's just easier to believe what Aaron says, because this is...
so stupid.
Me, the person who's accused of doing that thing, I say it never happened. Not like they had it wrong or here was the context or here's what actually happened. Just made it up out of whole cloth. You don't look believable.
So that's crazy. And Aaron's getting worse and worse with this stuff. I mean, we talked about it when he was saying that I'm bitter because I don't have children. That was quickly disproven by his own chat. You're like, Aaron just makes shit up and he goes with it. And he comes up with more and more examples. Like as soon as he hears something about someone he doesn't like, he tries to piece that together with anything else he can think of to prove they're a bad person. Can you believe Nick is saying he never laid a hand on his kid when, I mean, why would they just make that up? There's tons of people who saw him do it. It's like, whoa.
What's the best revenge?
Yeah. Living a great life. Yes. Mm-hmm. Not worrying about Nick Reicade anymore. It's amazing what April did to these guys. April has these two guys still fucking reeling. They have not gotten over it. It's been over a year.
She must be amazing.
I'm sure she's fine.
There's also a Brokeback Mountain element to both Nick and Aaron. They hate each other so much, and they are obsessed with each other.
Yes. It's a bit bizarre. All right, we have a lot to talk about. Tom Myers posted the interview he did on WTP with his own commentary, and he didn't do it live. He pre-recorded it, then he was in the chat.
Oh.
So we got to talk about that. The Fighter and the Kid is in Texas, episode 2. I don't think Brendan Schaub's going to last long in Texas. I have some theories.
But he found a taco spot.
He did find a taco spot, and wait till you hear about this barbecue place. Skinny Chad had me on his show and finally dropped that episode with a lot of editing, by the way. Puts in a lot of bells and whistles on that show. We'll break that down. Maddox trying to get our Boston show canceled if we have time. KC Armstrong and Adam Bush. And, of course, Stuttering John did an interview this past weekend in Tampa when he was at that sports expo on a sports show, which that was a really good use of everyone's time. He also did a podcast back in 2017 talking about his divorce with Susanna. We're going to get into all of that. But first, we got to get slowed way down by you fine folks supporting the show and participating at supertip.gg /WATP like Daddy Poopy over here.
Let's add Lenny to this bitch, Carl! Hey, Adam, come explore this ass cave. If I don't talk, you can pretend I'm Matt Berry. New York City!
Anonymous. Should I tell Portnoy the one joke about the one time Anne Frank got baked at camp? He doesn't like that joke. It's not the right time. 15 years ago, it would have been fine. Today, not so much. I'm not that retarded, says the cripple who lets the toe exploit his disability for a few shekels. Yeah, I know. Johnny, we know your legs don't work. The brain is a problem, too. It really is.
And, Johnny, that's your Hail Mary. That's your go-to scorch the earth move. To waste it on that felt a little, you could have held it in a
good point.
A little better.
Good point. Not cupcakes.
Okay. I did the same thing to April, but at least no one saw it. Nick did this on front of his sister-in-law who works at the chiropractor.
Nick talked about not going to the chiropractor anymore because his sister-in-law works there.
Apparently, Nick's sister-in-law reported Nick to CPS for starving his kids. Fluid.
All right. Well, there's the info that we were all looking for. Appreciate that. I miss old Howard Stern. Portnoy's talked about using Adderall before. Okay, well then.
Yes,
there you go.
When I was looking up this clip, I found one where cocaine came up, and he said, I don't fuck with cocaine, but Adderall, that's my thing. And then I saw him just raging and unable to let it go. Even when he wanted to, he just wanted to keep going. I was like, oh, that's There's a lot going on there, but we're not accusing anyone of anything. Detroit Dabbler says that for the Getting Cardiff, Tukey, and OJ to Detroit Fund, $1.99. Thank you.
$1.99. You know how much the flight is from Colorado Springs to Detroit?
We are very grateful. Every cent helps.
Thank you, Detroit
Dabbler. We meant to say.
Go ahead, Adam.
OG Mumbling Nick, great show, guys. Can't wait for Adam to go head-to-head with convicted liar and FEMA fraud expert Joey C. It's like Albert Einstein versus Niles Bohr, part 2. What alliances does Joey have? I realize now that you have to know who this person is for or against before you go on, because you're going to have to take a side really quickly. And I didn't do my research onto who his enemies currently are.
I don't think Joey sees that way.
Really?
He used to be.
Does
but
he
now
like
he
Kevin
seems,
Brennan?
I think he's fine. I don't think he has a problem with Kevin Brennan. Kevin doesn't. I don't think likes him because he goes on Shuli's show.
Just be cool, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he loves Alex Stein. He loves Shuli. He loves WATP.
You're not allowed to love all three of them. There's a rule. There are rules.
I'm on board with all those.
Me too. Jim Jansen for $4.99. It's like ST and SJ have no understanding of your show. The more they publicly suck, the more and more content for WATP. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. Like
Portnoy too. He was like, they put mean things in my restaurant. Don't
Right.
do that again.
I know he's amplified it so fucking much. If he would just kick the guy out and been like, "No, we're not having anti-Semitism here," it wouldn't have escalated to this.
Reservations are through the roof.
BMC, if somebody was at a chiropractor's office and saw a child getting choke slammed, I'm sure it would have been reported.
Yeah, choke slammed is a pretty serious thing to do to a child, I would think. Sounds pretty bad.
Look, you can choke and you can slam, but
choke
guys,
slam?
Why did he
That
say it
seems
so
like too
much? He said it like 5 times.
He wants it to be true. He's trying to wish it into the world. All right, let's talk real quick about Todd Myers.
You know, it's no different than, a police officer running to the scene of a crime or a firefighter running into a burning building. It's what I do.
So Tom Myers posted on his channel the interview he did with Adam, Chris, and Vinny. More so Adam and Vinny. And Andre sent this to me. He says, literally his only commentary is at 21:15, pointing out that Vinny is a booker for a comedy club in upstate New York, not New York City. So as you guys are going, by the way, do you know what Vinny does? He books for this pretty big club in New York. And I guess he did some research afterwards. He goes, aha, that's not New York City, so why do I care? So that was his big gotcha.
And I would like to publicly offer a retraction and an apology to all that I offended and hurt. I realize now that I should have said a club in upstate New York, or even more specifically Rochester, than New York State as a whole. That was misleading, and it won't happen again. Thank you for the fact check.
All right, good. You did that exactly as we rehearsed it. Thank you.
Or you could trade it all for this trip to Auschwitz.
Aside from that, this is again from Andre. He goes, aside from that, he just lets the entire interview play without commentary, with one other exception. 41 minutes in, he has to pause it and chime in, and I want to show that to you, Adam. You haven't watched this yet, have you?
Mm-mm.
And Andre writes also on here, it's kind of funny that in his opening spiel, he says that this is a fair use type thing. And then there's 15 total seconds of commentary for a 1 hour long interview. He does almost none of it. He pre-records this. He premieres it on his channel, and then he's in the chat. At one point, I think it was just you and him, right, Adam, in the chat?
Yeah.
Because there were two people.
There were 2 people watching, and I realized that has to be both of us.
Yeah, because he was in there chatting quite a bit. So this is a proud moment for our buddy Tom Myers on this show.
And I woke up the next morning.
Did anything happen at the show?
So I should point out what's happening right here is that Tom is talking about how he was an alcoholic and there was a turning point and he saw the error in his ways and he's been sober ever since. And what Adam's trying to do is to get the actual story out of him. What happened? How did you discover you were an alcoholic? What was the rock bottom that you experienced that would get you to sober up and never touch the sauce again? And Tom does this thing where he does not answer a question. He seems to be making up stories and just talking about like what he thinks someone cool would say, in that scenario. And I think, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, you're getting a little annoyed at this point because we're like 40 minutes into the interview.
Also, what's happening is it ramps up really quickly because he has a very hard out. And as soon as that was acknowledged and he said, yes, I do have to go, is when these answers started dragging on in a filibustery way.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wasn't going to let that be the end. So it was rude. I'm not proud of it, but I do start cutting him off, trying to get to the bottom of this.
Okay.
And I woke up the next morning.
Did anything happen at the show? Did anything happen at all?
Well, I woke up. If you shut the fuck up for 2 minutes,
next
let me
day.
finish. I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
I mean, you're asking a question. Can I fucking answer questions?
Can you?
I'm not gonna lie. I am so fucking proud of that moment. What can I say? I love throwing shit in people's faces. Anyway, back to the interview. Chiming in.
So that was a big W for Tom Myers. By going, are you going to let me answer the question? It's like, yeah, you're not answering the fucking question. You're talking about you drank a 6-pack and someone gave you a shot and then the next day. What are we doing?
Unless I'm mistaken, to the listener, the punchline gotcha moment of that exchange was when Vinny said, I don't know, can you? That was the joke. So
that
for him
was,
to
yes.
leave that in, but then say, gotcha, buddy.
So this is what his chat looked like. And this is the live chat that's going on during this show. And it's all Tom. So he's watching this, and BYB put in, you got owned badly, Tom. And he writes back, BYB podcast, got proof? The reviews are pretty mixed. And then as that other segment goes on, he goes, yeah, New York infers New York City. Vinny's club is in upstate New York, nothing special. And where his club is a shithole. And then more talking to BYB podcast.
Let's read that second one. Let's read that second one.
Yeah,
BYB
please.
podcast. Also, Tom says, Quad, you dived into a pool from a tree because your girlfriend left you for someone of a darker complexion, and your podcast sucks. You have no right to assess anyone's performance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tom has taken the gloves off here. He's ready to fight. Jesus Christ. What did Derek do to deserve that?
Imagine being confined to a wheelchair and everyone thinking you're a dick.
Crazy.
That's
Then there's a couple comments here from another person, and he's taking Tom's side. I thought you were unfairly maligned by the WTP crew. This wasn't an interview so much as a pointed critique. They had their talking points going in and didn't deviate at all.
You mean research?
Yeah.
I don't understand. They came
Like
in
you would
knowing
do
their
it-
stuff and having facts at the ready, and I don't understand.
I mean, this is Tom responding. I mean, you see how many views I'm getting here now. They aren't exactly bringing in the virtual foot traffic. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that moment. So he posted that after he went on screen and said he was proud of that moment. He was also in the chat writing, I'm pretty proud of that moment. And then he said, in case you missed it, Podcast Karen outrighted stated that I was not invited to come on WATP. Fact check, Reddit is the only place where WATP opinions coincide. Those are straight facts. What? What's he talking about?
At some point, he has you saying recently that you never invited him to come on.
Correct. I did not.
He has a clip where you did. He has a clip where you very clearly say that. I think it's from a long time ago, and he plays it at some point during this.
Okay.
And he's like, something like, Tom, you got an open invite. Come on the show. So he got you. He got you. So now nothing else you say about anything else holds any water.
He goes, I mean, I didn't want to go on the damn show in the first place. I only went on to get Adam Bush to shut the fuck up again.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
What a weird way to live your life. Someone can just nag you into doing things you don't want to do. You're not even married. Is Adam giving you pussy? What are you doing?
He said the only reason he put that out so fast was because he says, it was you that gave him shit for, asking us to put it out last so he could put it out first, and then he never did it. So you made a comment. You're like, when is he putting that out? I thought he said he wanted to. So then he rushed it together in a day to prove you wrong, exactly what you said. That was the motivating factor, which is why there's not that many gotcha moments. I will say Tom has started to do these live streams.
He is, because he stopped doing it for a while.
I think he's doing it again, or is he replaying them? I think he's doing them. If he is, they're amazing. And everyone needs to watch this. This is the Tom we enjoy. He was like at the Mexican restaurant he works at complaining about the management. Like, it's good stuff. It's real, what I like.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a new one?
Unless it might be, sometimes I get fooled when it's a premiere. It might be an old one.
I didn't know he still worked at the Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Maybe that's old then.
No, it could be. You could be right. I don't keep tabs on the guy's personal life. I don't know.
Either way, it's the best way to enjoy him. I wasn't aware. I want him with me all day long. I want to see him at the DMV. I want him on the bus. I want the whole experience.
That is awesome. Sorcerer, Buck90 says, Adam, can you ask Joey C to talk about his parents?
Oh, good question. Yeah, that's always a good question. What do we know about them? Anything? Nothing?
Yeah,
I bet it's
Sorcerer.
good.
Give us some more info on that if you don't mind. Supertip.gg/WATP is where you can go to interrupt the show and also participate like Silence Do Good is.
Everybody have fun tonight.
Everybody Adam Bush tonight.
It's a good song. If you remember the 80s, it's a good time. I've been checking in on the fighter and the kid because this is a crazy story. You have this podcast that's been around for 15 years now, something like that. And they do once a week and they're at episode 1050 something. So however that calculates. And Brian Callen has gotten to a point in his career. He's 58 years old. He's a stand-up. He's not really getting a lot of calls to be in movies and TV shows anymore. And he sees that all these guys went to the mothership in Austin. The comedy club that Joe Rogan opened up. And all those guys are now getting on the Joe Rogan Experience and hanging out with Joe Rogan all the time. And he's seeing that those guys are getting more and more specials and shows and appearances. And Brian goes, I need to be where the action is. So 4 months ago, he goes on The Fighter and the Kid and he goes, Brendan, I'm sorry, man. I'm moving to Austin. I got to be with my people. Comedy Store isn't where it's at anymore. I got to get out to the mothership, start hanging with that crew. And Brendan Schaub, who had quit stand-up comedy a year before that, goes, I'm in. Let's go. And I don't think that Brian had any intention.
No, saying goodbye.
Yeah, I don't think Brian had any intention of keeping the Fighter and the Kid going. But Brendan Schaub panicked and went, oh no, my buddy's leaving.
I know what to do.
So he decided to move his entire family to Austin, Texas, away from LA, and to keep the Fighter and the Kid going. And also he does the Schaub show from there. But I'm fascinated by what's going on with the Fighter and the Kid because these two guys are assimilating to Texas and Brian's there for a reason. So Brian doesn't like the heat. He has a number of things that he's not a fan of that we'll get into. Brendan has really no reason to be there except for to keep a podcast going that's been failing for a while. So it's really bizarre that not only did Brendan Schaub bring his entire family, he's got kids, the wife, the dog, but he also brought his producers along too. So there's these two guys who got to find places to live, and now he's got to support them to live in Austin, Texas. And it was just kind of like a thing that was like, yep, this is what we're doing.
It kind of busted their balls for not living anywhere yet.
Right. Yeah. Chin doesn't have a place to live yet. So they bust his balls about that. Meanwhile, these guys have big houses with swimming pools. They talk about all the cool shit they have going on and the neighborhoods they live in.
Hey, what's your pool like?
Chin's just like, yeah, well, because I'm flying back to my apartment in LA later today. So can we get the show on the road here? Right out of the gate, this is the very first thing that happens in the show. They're complaining about the bugs in Texas.
Texas.
We're back, bud.
We're back, buddy. You got the Texas buzz.
Dude, I got the Texas. Me and the boys shaved our heads. Proper
Yep.
Texas.
Yep.
I was introduced to Texas. I have to send you a text of the picture.
Oh, well, so yeah.
Of the L tarantula hawk.
Yeah, so Brendan said, what the fuck is this? And I said, that's what you call a female tarantula
Because we
hawk.
couldn't figure it out. So we're all chilling in the living room.
Yeah.
Donnie's outside, and he was like pouncing like this on something. And Joanna goes, Jesus, what is that? I go, oh, it's like a big-ass grasshopper. And she goes, but he has like yellow wings and black.
No, he's got orange wings. He's got orange wings.
Yeah, I was like, what is that? I go out there. The kids are in the pool. And I go, oh,
Well, it's about as big as your thumb.
So the first thing out of the gate, now, of course, Brendan's really trying to be all Texas. He was wearing the Texas Longhorns hat when he first got into the studio. He's buzzed. He's shaved his head, and his kids have shaved their heads to get ready for the Texas summer. So he's doing everything he can to be Texas. But he was not ready for the wildlife. And he comes across this thing called a tarantula hawk. And it freaks him out. Now, this is a pretty big bug. They're going to show an image of it. But he's just not used to this, and he comes out of the gate immediately talking about how awful this is.
So my thinking was, once I found out it was tarantula hawk, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. I kind of wish I didn't kill it. And I was thinking, like, well, wait a second. They eat tarantulas. That means there's also a ton of tarantulas around here.
A ton of tarantulas.
Then I was on a walk with the kiddos. We go on a walk at night, and in the middle of the road, El Tarantula couldn't get out of the way of some car, was ran over, but good-sized tarantula.
Oh, well, I found one in my pool.
All right. So this is not a good advertisement for Austin, Texas. I'll be honest with you. If I was a child and there was a tarantula in my swimming pool, I would never get over that. That would haunt me for the rest of my life. That sounds so fucking scary.
And I know how you are about spiders.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I can get by. Oh, my God. There were the two on the screen porch last night that got away from me. I'm still mad about that.
Yeah. And they told their friends that you're a pussy.
Yeah, I know. They're like, oh, we can hang out on the screen porch all day. Old man Hamburger won't do shit. God damn it. They got me. So already I'm hearing this, and he's just like, yeah, so there's this tarantula hawk with this bug that eats tarantulas, which means there must be tarantulas nearby. The tarantula hawk's not a great thing either because they're venomous and a problem that they bite you. And obviously, Brendan Schaub is an idiot who went to Wikipedia to look this up to try to sound smart, but this will backfire on him.
Tarantulas, the tarantula hawk, they're everywhere. I see them everywhere.
Aren't they called the Pepsi wasp too?
They're the Pepsis wasp.
Aren't they called the Pepsi wasp too? Who told you that? I'll tell you who told him that. Wikipedia. So if you go on Wikipedia under tarantula hawk, you can see tarantula hawks belong to any of the many species of the genre Pepsis and Hemipepsis. And he goes, aren't they called Pepsi?
He read the first three things in blue and stopped.
Yep.
That's what he got. Spider wasp, tarantula, Pepsi.
Pepsi wasps. So I love that. And Brian's such a sweetheart. Brian never clowns him for being an idiot. He always just goes, yeah, it's Pepsis, but okay. All right, whatever. That would easily be something you would stop in your tracks and go, I'm sorry, what did you think it was?
Oh,
what kind of wasp?
That could, if around here it turned into Baba Booey.
Right, yes. Oh, no, it's a Pepsi wasp, is it? Oh, it's a Mountain Dew wasp? What's going on?
Everything would be Pepsi for the next 15 years.
Yeah, because you're talking about a comedy show. I don't know what this is.
Right.
This is like extra credit. This is like helping the interns or something. This is like a self-help program. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what it is either.
Think that, I mean, Texans famously are fooled by locals trying to, by tourists trying to be locals, right? They can't tell the difference. They don't know who's from here or not, and they're so accepting of people.
Actually, no, Adam.
Trying
they
to quickly
totally
assimilate.
Tell.
They can't see you at all, especially with that local talk of the wasps and the heat. Like, don't touring comedians and touring bands know? You know, the second time you go through the town, you don't make the same local jokes that you read in the paper. Like, you have to dig in a little deeper. But this is just, I don't know what this is. I don't know. It's like they spent all the money on the production and then got there, and on the first day of shooting they were like, so what's the script? What are we doing? What are we gonna make?
Adam, I am telling you, Brendan Schaub made a quick decision where he just went, oh no, I'm gonna lose the fighter and the kid. I gotta go save that. I'm going. This is like when your girlfriend's like, I got a job opportunity in Austin. I'm moving there. And you're like, all right, let's go to Austin.
I love Austin.
You're right. And she's just like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess we're all going to Austin. He's done zero research. He didn't know what he was getting himself into. And he's experiencing it every day. And he comes to the fighter and the kid. He goes, holy shit. Listen to this thing that happened to me. Listen to this thing that happened to me. Like, he's freaked out by Texas. This is not going to last long. I am telling you. We should get a countdown clock or something. When will Brendan move back to LA? It's not going to take much longer because he's not going to see any perks from this. It's not like he's going to be on the Joe Rogan Experience or working stuff out at the mothership.
Oh, no. We've seen that go down before.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. So
he needs an idea. He needs a thought. He needs something to do. This was a big logistical move, but it was not a concept. He wanted to save this podcast, like you said. Well, you've done it. Now what?
Now what? Well, so we posted this tarantula hawk, and he got some advice from someone on social media.
Like, dude, do not touch that thing.
No.
He's like, that thing will paralyze you for about 5 minutes.
It'll
He's
really
like, it's not
hurt.
going to kill you, but you're going to be in such bad pain.
Yeah, and it's a big boy.
But
Those
of
are
course
big
I'm
fucking.
not
Look at the size of
touching
that
it.
fucking thing, dude. Look at the size of it.
Jacked.
Okay.
I hit him the first time, a little bit of a concussion, but he was not dead.
Yep, no,
it took 3 to 4
Yeah.
good,
and then you had to
solid
punch him and choke him out.
Bro.
See, Adam, it is a comedy show.
Ah, hilarious.
Yeah, pretty good
That was
stuff.
funny.
So then Brian starts listing all of the things that live in Texas that will kill you. You can tell these guys are hyper focused on the bad parts of living in Texas.
Yeah, I don't like killing animals.
I know.
But you have a 5-year-old barefoot on the pool.
Cottonmouths. We got cottonmouths. We
Haven't
got
seen snakes
coral
yet.
snakes.
Haven't
we
seen
got
snakies yet.
Rattlers. We got scorpions. We got tarantulas.
I've seen
we
a
got-
bunch of scorpions.
Yeah. Have you? I've seen none.
Oh, really? We had them in our garage.
Really?
Guy came and sprayed. I'm like, I see all these. Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You get the nest, dog.
Yeah. All over.
Okay. So this just sounds like a nightmare. If I'm the Texas Tourism Bureau, I'm like, can we stop this show, please? Oh, no one's watching? Okay. Phew, thank God. Because this is not great what they're talking about. And then they start complaining about the heat, especially Brian complaining about the heat.
It is. I'm going to say this too. It is hot. It is.
See, I still don't mind it. I was out all day yesterday. I went to a car show, drove to Monster Jam. I don't mind. I feel good in the seat. I just don't like if I'm indoor and it's hot, or when you first get in your car, it's fucking toasty.
That's
it's toasty.
And if you are in the sun, and by the way, it's June, and we got July, and we got August, and then we got September, and it ain't going to get any
July and
less
August gonna
hot.
get toasty.
That's going to be.
Let's say have pools though, and AC.
Yeah, Chin. We got pools and AC, so we'll be fine. I love that they're already dreading the next 3 months. They're like, it's fucking hot out there, and it's not even July yet. Jesus Christ.
I guess this is Opie's dream show. Like, Opie watches this, and he's like, these guys know how to do it. Open with some weather talk, some complaining, have no real format, and just kind of kill time. This is great.
How do I get a friend to do this with me?
Yeah.
This is like when Tom Myers, when you watch his stuff, and he obviously is copying Chad, and you're like, oh, your influences are not the right influences if you want to put on a successful show.
You watch Rob Saul, and he's doing John.
Right. Yeah. It's like you guys are picking from the wrong creators.
This sucks on so many levels because it's not good tourism, obviously. It doesn't paint Texas in a good light. And it's not good comedy because he's not really willing to admit how much he hates it. He's just kind of doing a little complaining, but having that, it's still good, you know.
It's not authentic.
Yes, that's the word.
It's very surface level and fake. And that's why I am picking up on, and this is my beat now. I am obsessed with this. I'll be checking out every Fighter of the Kid from here on out. If it's worthy, we'll bring it to the program, but I'm checking it out either way because I can tell Brendan Schaub is miserable. And you know what else? I bet his family is fucking miserable.
Oh, they are pissed.
The kids took him away from all their friends to be in this place where there's tarantulas.
Monsters.
Yeah, there's literally monsters everywhere.
Yeah, and this is supposed to be the honeymoon. The excitement when you
with the new house,
get to a
the
new
new
place.
neighborhood.
It's a new build, right?
Yeah, it's a new build in a neighborhood with like 10 houses.
Yeah.
And the neighbors were like, we're going to throw a party for you guys. Come on over. We're going to barbecue. We're going to play video games later. And Brendan's like, nah, it's a school night. I got to get up and work out at 5 a.m. They're like, oh,
yep.
Okay. Well, we tried.
Party's canceled, guys.
Yeah. What the fuck? He's having no fun.
You know his neighbors hate him, and that was the one opportunity they did what Southern people do. They came to you with open arms. You looked at them like Northern suspicious people, and it's over. It's done.
Yep,
You have no friends in your area.
Never invite you in to have a beer and play some video games with us ever again. Fair enough.
Yeah, and Brendan Schaub isn't like your average household name, you know.
Sure.
He'd done some stuff. We knew about him. But I could see his neighbors getting together and be like, so who's this new guy? And they watch this.
Oh, yeah. Or they read the subreddit.
Yeah.
Well, turns out Brendan had a really bad day.
Yeah.
Because he drove to this event that the kids wanted to go to, and he parked in the parking garage. And unfortunately, his excursion is taller than the ceiling of the parking garage. And it said 8'2" was the clearance, but that was just on the first floor. As soon as he got to the second floor, which sucks. And he talks about this.
Yep.
Ooh, my day was tough.
Wow.
My day was tough.
Oh, no. I'm not even a car guy. When I hit the bottom part of my fucking car,
oh yeah,
it's like, whoa, Jesus, you know?
Dude, that's a cherry 2003 Ford Excursion. I just got done.
Now,
and
how bad
when I
is
say buddy, it's like someone.
Well, you got scalped.
Oh, it was like two fucking hawks took their claws and just went.
This giant hawk.
Is this new?
You mind if the Game of Thrones dragon just drags his claws across the? Wow.
Two saber-toothed tigers' teeth.
So just now it's funny. So you got that. So you got nice big.
Oh, what?
We did 3 different animals that can be
Now
dragged.
it's funny again.
Yeah, like what are we doing? Saber-toothed tiger. That's what you were looking for.
What chemistry they have.
Brendan. They're tripping over each other with nonsense on this clip. But this went on. This story goes on for a long time. I don't have a lot of clips on it. But Brendan had a very bad day because he's a big car guy. And when he's even got a dent on his car, it freaks him out.
And I have OCD, so when there's a scratch, it drives me nuts. Now, when there's a million,
It actually drives me nuts.
It's all I can focus on.
I go nuts if my car has a dent or something. I got to get.
I'm embarrassed. Aren't you embarrassed?
So on my steering wheel, the outer layers
all you can
peeled
focus
off.
on.
I'm like, I got to take this in immediately.
I don't like my car having exterior damage. I don't know if that's an OCD thing. Why is everything OCD?
It's a natural feeling.
Yeah, it's pretty natural. Like you got a nice car, it looks good. And
is this just like is Schaub just bringing everyone around him down? Because at this point, I prefer Steel Toe because at least Steel Toe he cares, he believes what he's saying. They're not interested in this conversation. Like this is torturous. There was a saying about 90s songwriting when they were like, just because it's in your diary doesn't mean it's a song.
Right.
And you mean you could just work a little harder at it. Like this, I get it that they're natural and they seem like they're being themselves, but it's fucking boring and there's no entertainment happening.
There's not until they get into barbecue talk. And Brendan has found a barbecue place. Now, where we last left you, he found a taco place, but he wasn't sure about the right barbecue place yet. And so his Saturday was popping. He'll explain to you why.
Check out this nice little Saturday I had.
Yeah.
I went to Interstellar Barbecue during the day.
Nothing wrong with that.
And then I watched UFC at night. What a nice Texas Saturday.
Brendan just explained he had lunch at a restaurant and then watched TV at home later that night. And that was a Texas Saturday.
Like a true Texan.
He wants so badly to feel like he belongs and to feel like he's doing it right and this is working.
And that's not a mistake.
Literally, that's a guy who's trying to pretend it's working.
Yeah.
Dude, I enjoyed this restaurant I went to. The barbecue was good. And then I was able to go home and watch UFC on my big screen TV. So this is great. I love it here. Do you, though?
And my family's happy. Right?
They better be. Oh, actually, my youngest is getting bit by a tarantula as we speak. All right, I'll be back. So this is, I know what you guys are thinking. Interstellar Barbecue, the place you went to get lunch. Can we get a review? Because I'm not buying it. I want to know, what was good there. Give us a recommendation on this.
And the prices.
Brendan.
And that Interstellar Barbecue, buddy.
Really?
Fuck whatever recommendations
So we
you
went
get.
there and it was closed.
When'd you go?
Hurt my feelings. You and I went there and it was
Oh,
closed.
no. We went to Bee Cave Barbecue.
Okay.
This is Interstellar, which is a little more down.
Got it.
Buddy.
Yeah.
It's the best I've had. Their pork belly, their beef ribs, and their sides, dude. I'll eat that shit right now.
Really?
Oh, my. Their cream corn.
Cream corn. Their sides, dude? Yeah, what do they got? Cream corn? Okay. Is he doing Crystalia right now? He was doing the jerk-off motion and the sides, dude? Like he's trying to be too excited about things that aren't exciting? That's a Crystalia impression, right?
Well, the motion's a Louis C.K. thing.
Good point. Yeah, one of those comics. This is a man who has not figured out anything yet.
He sounds like a hippie from the 60s trying to explain why he's for the war. Like, no matter how hard, we're still just looking at you in that outfit and saying, you know,
No, this is going great, man. This is great. Communism, we can't spread. Let's do this.
You're just not going to buy it. It
Well,
doesn't
end it
sound
here.
real. Something tells me Interstellar is not the hidden secret, barbecue place that he is trying to act like he's a local now, letting him know the hot
There's
spots.
probably
to check out.
24 locations, 2 in every city in Texas. I know. I was thinking the same thing.
Famous creamed corn.
When he was explaining, dude, they have ribs there and pork belly. Like, yeah, of course they do. Is it the sauce? Is it the way they prepare it? Like, what is it about? Like, nothing. It's
the sides.
It's the sides. Yeah, the side. He goes, I would eat the sides right now, dude.
Oh.
So you're hungry?
Go ahead. Meanwhile, your producer was flying back home on that Saturday and then flying back to find a place to live. Hope you got him a to-go plate.
Oh, boy. Well, hope the homeless cat's out there enjoying what Brendan Schaub is up to in Texas, because I know I am. We have so much to get to today. Skinny Chad finally dropped the episode that I was on. And my friend Adam took some notes on that we're going to go through. Maddox is trying to shut down our Boston show. Tisk. Maddox. KC Armstrong. Adam was on with KC Armstrong. We might get to that. Stuttering John was on the Sports Web with Peter Blake. He's also on a podcast talking about his divorce. And we got all of that to get to. We don't want to get slowed down by people supporting the show. We appreciate it. We like that you participate in the show, but there's just so much to get to. Only so many hours in a day. But if you do want to go to supertip.gg/WTP and piss us off, like Destriga did, you can.
Yo, my niggas. I love you guys. I kill a guy through negligence, and now I'm a Dabbleverse darling. Eat my ass, John.
You have found me out, Carl. I'm an absolute loser, and comedy is my kryptonite. Can you meet me at a hotel in Boston so we can just do it?
I got beaten by the cops last week. Why are you not putting me on Watts? Is it the sex dungeon guy that sells coffee to blacks, taking up all your time?
Good question.
Wait, did he get beat by the cops last week? We took WATS off because Mike was at a wedding this past week. That's Blind Mike's beat. The Chili DeCastro delete laws stuff. So I don't know. I'm not keeping up on that. I just watched Brendan Schaub. That's my beat. Anonymous says, tell us more about the genres of species. I know I'm an idiot. Turns out I'm an idiot. Go figure. Bugle me this. I coached Schaub when he was a walk-on football player at the U of Colorado. Good kid. Never was funny. Goofy? Absolutely. Dumb? Kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Bugle me this. Is that true? You coached Brendan Schaub? That's crazy. If
It's an
true.
accurate description. That's exactly right. That's him.
He might know. Yeah. I believe it. It must be true. All right, Adam, take some of these for me.
I'm me. I've always been me since 5 years old. Tarantula hawks are native to L.A. Bappa is slow.
Is that true?
I haven't seen them.
Have you seen them? Okay.
I haven't. A queef of the night. You got to listen to Nick Mullins riff on West Coast comedians in their podcast. It's perfect, and it roasts these guys.
I remember that. It's been years, but yes, he nailed it. There's nothing funny about comedians on the West Coast doing podcasts for some reason. I think it would be.
Madigan, a Quinn Martin production. Is now a bad time to tell Brendan that Texas also has alligators?
Yes.
He doesn't want to know.
He doesn't want to know about that.
Sorcerer, the guy on the left sounds like he's doing this because guilt. Yes, it does.
Brian Callen definitely feels like he needs to continue this on for his buddy Brendan Schaub. Brian Callen might be the world's best friend.
Well, Brendan followed him there. He fucking has to.
He could have
for a couple weeks.
Yeah, he could have nipped it in the bud and been like, we had a good run.
What's that Bill Murray movie where he just keeps showing up to Lake Winnipesaukee? What about Bob?
Oh, yeah.
That's Brendan Schaub.
That's
What about
Brendan Schaub. You're right.
What about Schaub?
What about Schaub?
I'm sailing. Look at me. I'm hunting.
All right. You want to talk about this interview I did with Skinny Chad?
Sure.
I'm going to do my best to stay out of the way because me talking in two different instances is always...
I understand that. The only thing I'm going to ask you to do is to explain to everyone, because I didn't know going in, what is the Hamburger Pants saga? Can you explain that? Because I did his show, and this is what he wanted to talk to me about mostly, and I was unaware of it.
I got, we have a P.O. box. If you can find it on whoarethese.com. We get a lot of great gifts from listeners, and we appreciate that. Lucy more so than anyone else, but we all get gifts from listeners and we appreciate that. Skinny Chad sent me hamburger pants that are elastic, like pajama pants. The size was 2XL. Kind of insulting. Do I look like a 2XL? I'm not. Anyway, so he sent me these pants that have printed hamburgers on them. And he asked me to put them on and take a photo of them on. And it took me a while to get to that task. It didn't make it to the top of my to-do list. It actually was quite low on my to-do list as far because I like to prioritize.
How did he handle that? How did he handle the time between when he sent you the pants and when you finally delivered?
So he got very upset with me. And it started as like some nudging, like, hey, Carl, don't forget, you got to get those things. And I'd always be like, oh, yeah, I'll do that. And then it turned into super chats and emails and direct messages on X and just a barrage of communications telling me that I need to put the pants on. And the more I got these, the less I wanted to do it.
How about that?
Interesting how that works.
As you might assume.
Because I did an interview on his show, and it took me a little while to bring it here, and he was very anxious that entire time. He was sending similar messages going, when is this going to happen? I guess Adam's afraid. Maybe he's never going to do it. But it was very important to him that he explained to me this hamburger pants saga, and when I couldn't deliver whatever response he was looking for, you went on the show to talk to him about it after having sent him the pictures. And I believe what we have here now is a man kind of trapped inside this character that he's created for himself. He says he's the mean hatchet man who dishes out, you know, all the bad news and the disses, and he's relentless. And he wants to play this character, but he doesn't want there to be any repercussions or any reactions to anything that he says and does. That's not okay. So he is trapped and he doesn't know how to get out. And what we're going to see here is him just going back and forth between railing at you in a comedic way and then needing very real, serious explanations to the feelings he's having and help with them, which unfortunately I tried for an hour and 40 minutes and I couldn't. You tried for as long as you could until the stream ended on him, and he was forced to just end it.
There was a tech issue that happened that we didn't know about at the time, and so we talked for another 10 minutes, and it was gone. He didn't have it. He was disappointed by that.
So I won't keep us from it. This first one is where he just introduces you, and he quickly gets to the heart of what's on his mind within the first minute.
About how, I should have gotten credit for that, this and that,
Hold on. These YouTube videos, I like to remember where you were.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Conspiracy Theory. We're just going to hit the ground running, no intro this time because we got time to fill. I have with me the man of the hour, or at least the man of my hour.
I just love that he comes right at the end. Okay, here we go. We got a lot of time, so we got to go right to it. We have Carl. He's coming right like he's already out of breath. That was already.
Oh, so yeah. Also, we have time to fill.
Yeah, time to
is
fill.
the opposite of what he's talking about here. It's like, we got time. So, I don't know. We'll just stretch out. Take our time on this.
He goes by many names. Chompers, Lady K, the man with clubbed feet. He who walks in hamburger pants, Burger Goblin Carl. Okay, maybe not the last one, but if my plans hadn't been thwarted, that would have been the case. How are you doing, Carl?
I'm doing well, Skinny Chad. Thanks for having me. I don't think people call me any of those names, but it's interesting that
Not to your face.
Ah, I see. Fair enough.
Not to your face. It was my goal to eventually get into like the side of like to get on Chad's show and maybe KB's show one of these days and put in the little mind bug and get Burger Goblin Carl into the lexicon.
Okay.
One day where they're like saying like
people aren't picking up on that.
Yeah. Well, I kind of had to like get on those shows first, but it's like I've been like trying to crawl up the community ladder for like, I don't know, so many years. It's since I started the Skinny Chad persona. As you see, I got my hat on the side here. I just figured I'd take the hat off and just, no goofy stuff today. It's just straight
serious,
talk. Just
all right, yeah, the serious conversation we're having.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow. Off to a great start.
Yeah.
Huh? There's a lot going on there, and I appreciate, Carl, you're really trying to like steer him away from the kind of fantastical stuff and maybe just try and get to know him a little bit, and that happens right here. You try very hard.
And then put them in a special file someplace so that they're accessible.
Okay.
Like webtoons, like I did with my pull-up comic, The Triumph of Eric July.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Are you a big Eric July fan?
Huh?
Are you an Eric July fan?
No, but I'm trying to convince people that I am.
Got it. So your whole persona is the opposite of how you really feel about things.
Yeah. Because I guess what's happened lately is I guess I don't know if I'm either playing the character too well or something of that nature, but I guess it comes off like I might have had. Are you like genuinely offended by anything that I've said or done?
Am I? No.
But on your show, you said that I'm a creep, though.
Well, you do creepy things.
like what?
Well, like sending me pants in the mail and then telling me to take a photo wearing them for you. That's not a normal thing. You're the only person who's ever done that to me.
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
All right. We have some agreement there.
Yeah, I like that we had some agreement going early on in the show because I wasn't sure what to make of any of this.
No, I don't think he is either. He's like a method actor who's trapped. He's in too deep, and he doesn't enjoy this feeling of not being able to control people's responses. He had this fantasy, you're going to wear the pants, and then this thing is going to happen. I don't know what it is, but it was in his mind. He had a thing. I'm going to go on a show. He was going to show me some dolls. I was going to say a specific thing, and then we were going to get married. I don't know. We were going to, something was going to happen.
Right.
And when whatever he wanted doesn't happen, he doesn't know how to process it. And that's what he expresses right here.
I guess the whole crux of the hamburger pants saga, as I like to call it, is that, I guess I hassle you to put them on. It took a lot longer than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Because and I guess in that I got like actually frustrated. But
So
whenever I would do,
you were actually angry with me, right?
frustrated. Frustrated
Yeah.
isn't angry.
Okay. How are you feeling now? Are we on good terms?
We'll see. The thing is that
You're a tough
I would
cookie,
always
Kitty Chad.
I would always try to
Jeez.
wrap everything in a joke. Because
Okay.
that's the thing. I needed everything to be funny.
Sure.
I needed it to be hilarious. I remember whenever I would send a super chat, demanding, put on those hamburger pants, Carl, I'd always wrap it up in a joke.
I remember him telling you the same thing. They just like, yeah, I do all these things and I tell people to do this and I make them do that because it's funny. You're like, okay, how is it? Who's it funny for?
Yeah, he went as far as to say hilarious.
Yes, hilarious.
And when the joke takes longer than he would like, he gets frustrated.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm surprised you didn't say I'm not mad, just disappointed.
Yeah, it's you're
By the way,
you're
he
being
sent me
re-
this. He sent me this image. I don't know if he made this for this episode.
Yeah.
But Skinny Chad, the WATP lightsaber going through the captain's hat. A dabbler no more. Is Skinny Chad saying he's out of the Dabbleverse?
He's doing a Phil Elmore. He's trying to climb the dabbler social ladder.
Right.
And every step he does leads him further away, but he can't stop trying. So he's going to extremes now. So now he's quitting and he's moving on and everything's different. Exactly. Thank you, Kelsey.
I guess
and
I
it's
don't know
interesting
if
because very much like Portnoy, we were saying there's a desire to be frustrated. He doesn't want resolve. He explains
He
to
wouldn't
you
know what to do with it if he had it.
exactly. Wouldn't know what to do with a friend if he found him. So you ask him about the interview we did together, and he expresses his thoughts on it.
I was trying to I totally admit on that interview, I completely ate shit. I totally ate shit on this. I guess I thought I was more clever than I thought I was. And it's 100% my fault that it turned out that way.
I thought it turned out good. I enjoyed the clips that Adam brought to WATP, and definitely enlightened me about your characters that you play and what your approach is and your angles on things. So I don't feel bad about that. I thought it was good.
No, what I don't feel bad about that, what I feel bad about is that everybody in the Dabbleverse thinks I'm a big creep now. And that's kind of odd.
You did. Yes, that is true.
Yep.
So he didn't feel bad about the interview. He felt bad about how people reacted to the interview.
Yeah. And when
it's understandable. Go, please.
It's when I explained to him, maybe Carl you found it hilarious. Maybe Carl felt the pants were intrusive. Maybe he thought you were making fun of him. I don't know. Maybe he just had an opinion. He doesn't like that. That's not fair. That's not what was supposed to happen.
Right.
This was supposed to happen this way, and then he would be a hero. And you keep trying, man. You keep trying to steer this away from, Mayor McCheese and into something more grounded, and you get him for a second here before he just veers right off.
Is number 5 we're at?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. And I just want to add that you've worn the pants, you've sent him a photo of them, and you've showed up on his show.
Correct.
Now he feels emboldened to take the next step, which is the natural evolution of every Dabbleverse relationship, right?
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah, I have a whole list of stuff. So, let me see if I cover everything. Oh, yeah. Also, you know how you tell people, just do it? Like, if you're going to sue me, just do it?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I actually filed charges against you in Dabble Court.
Okay.
And I contacted Lucy Tightbox to represent me.
Okay.
And so that way, I think I sent you a copy of the charges, and it was going to be like extortion for taking so long on putting on the hamburger pants.
Well, you live in an interesting fantasy world, don't you?
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Now came in back in December. It looks like.
Try to make it as interesting as possible.
To rule over this.
Yeah. But I think I'll drop a couple of the charges.
Okay.
Although there is a new charge that I think I should bring up, which is lately I've noticed you've been showcasing your twig feet, your twigs. You have very thin legs.
Showcasing them? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? We were in Vegas and I wore shorts. I think everyone does. It's 100 degrees.
And everyone commented on them.
I'm supposed to be able to help that? I can't help that.
What you don't understand is that infringes on my artistic representation of Burger Goblin Carl with the twig feet. So you're in violation of my artistic representation.
I see.
That's another charge. I should take you to court for that.
Yeah, I don't know that you're going to get too far with that, considering which came first.
Yeah.
I didn't transform my life after your comic came out. So you might want to just rethink that one.
Okay. I guess I can exercise some mercy. So, aside from that, I guess I just want to make sure that we're good.
I thought Carl just wanted to make sure you were good a couple minutes ago.
Yes. This was an interesting point of the interview where I realized that we're just going to talk about fantastical things and that this was a huge waste of my time. Because now I'm just like entering into his world. I had to go through my emails and search on his name, and I saw there was an email that came in December that, guys, I'm talking to the City Winery in Boston right now directly, but to anyone else too. Don't send me super long emails. They stress me out. I can't take it. If you send me an email with 20 or more paragraphs, there's a real good chance it never gets read. I know I could probably put it into Chat GPT and get it summarized. This fucking email from City Winery. Can they do a little research and see that we're not a band before they list every fucking piece of equipment and want to know what we're bringing. Jesus. I realize it's just the standard fucking thing, but then they get all annoyed. Like, how come we haven't responded yet? Because you want to know if I want to borrow your Marshall twin, which doesn't exist, but you get my point.
Yes, we do.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I went off. What were you saying, Adam?
I thought you were staying out of this.
No. I just thought it was funny that he's just like, and I sent you an email about I'm taking you to Dabble Court. I'm like, you did? And I'm like in my email, like, oh yeah, there it is. Sure enough.
Well, again, Adam brought this up when he was on Skinny Chad's show.
Yeah.
It's like, you do these things and you put the energy on the other person expecting something, and they owe you nothing.
And I really do try.
You do?
I try to read every note that comes in. I try to respond to every note that I can. I really put in the effort to do this stuff, but I have to prioritize things in my life, like sitting with Adam for way too long on Wednesday evenings.
Yes, that's what's important.
That's what's important to me.
What you have to understand is there is no scenario in Chad's mind where you didn't get to the email yet. You obviously got to it, and every day you don't respond is a communication directly to him. Like, this is
insulting
a war.
him. Yeah,
this is a battle going on, and there is nothing you can do to change his mind about that.
I already responded to my emails from iHeartMedia. I might get a sweet deal like Opie did. I haven't gotten back to these people yet. I'm definitely not going to get back to a Dabble Court summons. I have real people trying to sue me here.
Yeah. Real lawsuits going on here. Not in Dabble Court, but you see, he comes up with this idea.
I talked to my attorney yesterday. Could you imagine? I'm just like, okay, do you have another 20 minutes? I got to talk to you about this Dabble Court thing.
Yeah.
Lucy Tightbox of Tough Cookie, and she's representing Chad on this one.
So he's a jilted lover? Well, not exactly, but he acts like it.
Yes. But it feels like that, yes. He reaches out to the pants. You wear the pants. You send him the picture. He reaches out to me. We talk about the pants. He reaches out to you. You talk about the pants. And after a half hour, his question is, Are we cool? Is this cool? Are we like? There's only so much that we can do. It doesn't.
You didn't pull this clip, but I also reminded him during this interview that he traveled to Rochester. I forget where he lives, Southwest somewhere, I think. He traveled to Rochester to come to one of the events we had at Comedy at the Carlson. I don't know if it was subreddit surfing maybe or something like that. And I remember on Sunday we put out a note like, "Hey, if you guys want to hang out, we're going to be at the Jenny Brew Pub." And he was there, and I sat next to him for a couple of hours, and we hung out, and there were some other people there who came into Rochester for the shows and stuff too. And we sat and hung out and whatever. And then all right, I got to go. See you guys. It's like, am I not holding up my end of the bargain on this? I'm really trying here. I'm really going above and beyond, I feel like.
I explained it to him as a fan, the relationships I've had to the people I'm fans of. I explained it to him as someone who's had people that are fans of me, all of the different scenarios.
Yeah.
And with each attempt to get to feeling closer to this thing he loves, he ends up feeling farther away. So after all of this, he's like, Dabble Court, and Lucy's going to get involved, and now she's going to do this for me, and it's all the same
And she has to wear this.
Well, yeah, that's what we said when he
Only
said,
Dr. Steve gets to tell Lucy what to wear.
That's right, and he's earned it, goddammit.
That's right.
When I explained to him why the pants thing could be creepy, it was because it turns into something like that. Now Lucy has to wear and eat and do whatever we say. Like, where does this end? Do you have 6 next or 7?
6.
Yeah, you try once again to steer this into something rational. He won't do it.
The interview.
Yeah,
so it's like,
that's
okay.
the point.
Yeah, so no one's going to watch this. So we could like openly plot to take over the Dabbleverse entirely, and no one would get a hint. All of our secret plans.
Let's not do that. You want to talk about anything real? You want to talk about any real stuff that's going on?
Well, let's see. Let me go over my notes. You used to work at E-Bombs World, is that right?
That is right, yes.
For some reason, I keep wanting to say E-fucked.
Yeah. So we talk about all this like fantasy land that he's in for a while, and I finally go, okay, are we going to talk about something I can actually have a conversation about, or what are we doing?
And that's it. That's the extent of the conversation. That little back and forth about E-Bomb is where it ends. And then he just kind of goes back to talking about himself. This next clip I call Kill Your Idols.
Yes.
At the time, I think you ran into that issue with the vanishing. How long ago was that?
That would have been 2018, 27, maybe 2017.
Okay, so I've been a listener since then.
Cool.
Okay, and then I've been like following the show and doing all that stuff. And
that's awesome, man. You go way back.
Yeah, I know. So you can understand how I felt when I felt like I got thrown out of the bus, type of thing. You would understand. I'd be a little bit like peeved about that.
I'm a fan of lots of things. I don't expect anyone who's a part of that to talk to me or react to me. I've told you I'm a huge Ween fan, my favorite band. And I got an opportunity to open for the lead singer, Aaron Freeman, at this venue. My band got to open for him. It was very exciting. And they said, Carl, Aaron's right back there in the green room if you want to go talk to him. And I went, nope. He doesn't owe me anything. I've enjoyed his music. He's given me things that I've enjoyed. And I have no reason to talk to him. He unless he comes to me and goes, Carl, I'm a huge WTP fan. I don't have any desire to reach out to him and have a relationship with him. So you don't have to have a relationship with people just because you appreciate their work or enjoy their art.
All right. Yeah, I guess there's some underlining message that you're trying to beat into my head.
Oh, no. It's not underlying. It's specifically, Yeah, I was trying to say underlying, I think. But it's like,
it could be more direct.
Yeah, it wasn't just an aside. I was explaining specifically how you should respond to artists
Honey,
that you enjoy.
It's over. I've packed the bags. I'm taking the kids. We're getting a divorce. I feel like you're subtly trying to...
What are you trying to say here?
What are you getting at? What are you beating
what do you
around?
really mean?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's interesting. I've had those moments with Quadfather. You bring them right to the point of enlightenment, and they recognize it, and then go, yeah, but this is familiar. I'm just going to go back to this other thing. This is what I know what to do with. And what's interesting is that you would think he would find this sort of interview mean-spirited, like he says, but apparently it's okay when it's other people.
Well, it's not... Yeah, it's like no matter what I'm saying, I'm going to come off sounding crazy. So
No, not at all. Listen, and I don't think you're crazy. I'm just letting you know how I think about entertainment and the people that I admire who I'm a fan of.
Okay, because it's just like the whole, I guess, reaching out and stuff. And I do kind of feel like I was thrown under the bus in a sort of way. That with the segment.
Sorry you feel that way, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
it's another phrase he's misusing.
Mm-hmm. Well, but then I bring it up to you and I ask, and you just tell me, and then I was like, well, if that's just the way it is, then I guess that's the way it is.
Okay, so what did I do to throw you under the bus?
Well, it's like the sort of I felt it was like the segment and stuff like that, and calling it the worst interview, and then like the whole.
Oh, so this is just about Adam bringing that segment to the show. Now, if that wasn't okay, let me ask you this: I don't know if you can even do this exercise, but if that was a different listener, or let's say that was Rob Saul's show or someone else's show, would you have enjoyed that segment?
Yeah, probably would have. But then I guess that's sort of the difference is that, when it happens to you eventually.
Yeah. Right.
Had a little breakthrough.
Precisely.
I guess so. Yeah.
And he even put up a graphic on there. This goes, okay, Carl, durr.
Mm-hmm. When
I was like, obviously you would feel differently about it if it weren't you specifically. Like, yeah, durr. It's like, yeah, you're not understanding what I'm telling you here. This is what we do on WATP. It's the whole point of the show. You think we're going to celebrate? Like, holy shit, Skinny Chad, this guy's the best. I can't believe how great his podcast is. We don't do that.
And what's crazy is he's like, why did you say that my interview wasn't good? That was really mean. And then you go, well, let me try and explain it to you. And he goes, okay, durr. Like,
yeah.
Which one is it? Is he the sensitive fan or is he the mean-spirited hatchet man? He doesn't know.
He's mad about the title of it or the thumbnail. We got to get people to click on this shit. It can't just be like, Anna went on Skinny Chad's show. It's got to be the worst interview ever. That's something you want to click on. Like, okay, what's that all about? And it wasn't that far off.
Guys getting along. Yeah, let's watch that.
That sounds fun. You explain this to him very clearly, and he says, oh, yeah, well, I actually titled my version of the interview this so that people would click on it. It's like, okay, so you you do get it.
So you get it. Yep.
And what's fascinating is that you and like, if these are things that are bothering him, you're setting him free from them. He's like, I thought the interview went badly. You're like, I thought it went great. He's like, I thought this guy hates me. You're like, the guy actually doesn't hate you. And none of this brings him relief. So now that you've kind of solved every one of these issues, now he's going to get down to what the real issue is. Finally.
Yeah, sorry. What's the beef here? All these things.
Okay. I do have like a legit beef on one of your segments.
Okay.
All right. We'll see if we're still friends after this. Wait, we never were friends, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
When you had Ray on and you did a segment on a podcast called Weaponized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remind me what Weaponized was.
Weaponized was Jeremy Corbell, where they talk about UFOs and the disclosure movement.
Yes.
I guess you had a whole segment planned, and instead Ray and you just sang songs.
Oh, Ray and I have never sang songs. I pulled out a mandolin when I was on his show once.
Well, he wanted to sing a song, I believe.
He sings a lot. Yeah, that's true. But I did the segment. We did the segment on Weaponized. I pulled a bunch of clips and I went through it.
He got the gist of it.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that I kind of feel like you guys were sitting on gold.
Okay.
Because
like
and I don't know that.
Do you think they're crackpots? What do you think?
Well, I don't know how much you know about Jeremy Corbell, but he is in my field, in the paranormal field. He's one of the prominent disclosure bros.
Yes.
And he's got so much baggage that he's practically a locale himself.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I've seen him on Joe Rogan, but I guess it's been a long time.
Yeah, he's a character.
He's going to kill us, isn't he?
Dude, yeah. I was so surprised when it came to this, where he's just like, I didn't appreciate when you guys reviewed Weaponized. I was like, oh, okay, tell me about it. And he's like, you need to explain that this guy's full of shit and he was proven wrong in this instance and this. I'm like, I listened to one episode of the show and reviewed it, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not an investigative journalist.
That's his legitimate beef with you.
I guess. I don't know if he just came up with it on the fly there or if that was in his notes. So it's hard to tell.
I don't know, but he hears your response and then he just talks for another 4 minutes.
Yep.
And then as soon as you're about to respond, it just ends. I guess he had a technical problem and the show's over. That's it. But he put up a little bumper at the end, a little bump there to a message to you of a moment from. Did you get to see this?
I did, yes.
Okay, so this is, I guess, what he's trying to say.
So it says, show cut short due to nap time and Carl's audio cut out, my fault. So he makes fun of me one last time and then admits that it had nothing to do with anything that I did wrong. Annie, are there any reviews you have for us?
Yeah, there's a couple of new ones that finally came in, but I'm only going to read one today because it's kind of long.
Thank you.
Carl is a wish-hoarding burger goblin. In recent episodes, Burger Goblin Carl has gotten into the habit of granting patrons and fans wishes, wearing their material offerings from burger hats to...
So anyway, I don't have to play this whole thing, but Annie's reading a review that obviously Skinny Chad posted, and it's like deep into his psychosis of the world that he lives in, where anytime I show a product that I get, like for example, I still have this Nick Ricada Baldo next to me because I use it when Lucy's over. And so if I show this on the screen and I'm not wearing hamburger pants, that is a personal slight to Skinny Chad.
If you're wearing any clothes.
Right. Can you believe this guy's wearing pants that don't have hamburgers on them? The fuck's his problem?
And by the way, he trashes you in the show for a long time in that review and then gives it 1 star.
And then, I gave it a 1 star.
So he actually
review.
did try and...
He actually was a dick about it.
Uh-huh. And that's all we got. That's all. It does feel like talk radio, that Eric Bogosian play and movie where he's a radio host, and you know the fan doesn't know what they want from them, but they know it's something and it's strong, and it could either be like love or sex, or I just gotta kill you, or I want to be you, I want to be next to you. Like they don't No. But he's trapped right now, and I really hope he can see that these moves are not helping. And I stopped caring about what the people I admire think about me when I learned that it might result in me not wanting to listen to their music anymore or listen to their comedy. And I realized their art was more important than this fucking awkward interaction in an elevator. And I love this music, and I'm not gonna not want to listen to it because the guy was rude to me in an elevator. So I'll just enjoy the music, I'll avoid this interaction, and I'll keep this to myself. That's all. It's enough, Chad. It really, really is.
That's a very mature way to look at life. Can I tell you what an immature way to look at life is? Vito Giswaldi telling me he can no longer watch WATP because we're not friends anymore. Like laying that on me like, oh, well, this sucks, man. I guess I won't be checking out your show anymore. I'm like, dude, that's like the most girl shit you could say. But anyway, to your point.
Yeah.
I want to tell Skinny Chad, he's going to be in Boston. Dude, we love you. We love that you're a fan of the show. Hang with us. We're going to have a great time. Just, relax. Just be cool. Just be a guy. We're all guys.
Talented artist. He's a great graphic artist, comic book artist. You don't have to, we look forward to having a drink with you in Boston.
Correct. We're looking forward to hanging out
living
with you.
through it successfully.
Yes.
Yes. Don't forget that part.
Cardiff is here with us today, everybody.
Hey. Wow.
What's up, Cardiff?
Oh, hello. You're lucky that you avoided Dabblecore with that case because you would have lost.
Would not have lost that case.
You would have lost that case.
The judge should not be telling me who would have won and lost, by the way.
With prejudice.
He
sent me all the evidence as well. I saw all those emails too.
Oh, that's right. You were copied on that shit, weren't you?
I was.
It'll be great when John stream snipes that Dabblecourt case.
Got him.
All right.
Ask him about the DUIs.
We still have Maddox trying to take down the Boston live show. We still have Stuttering John stuff to get to. But people are not cooperating with me. They're going to supertip.gg/WATP and killing the flow of the show.
Those generous bastards.
Yes. This is the thing that Anthony hates right here. Destriga coming in.
Carl is afraid of tarantulas.
Carl is afraid of tarantulas.
Carl is afraid of tarantulas.
Thanks for talking about me. Carl is afraid of tarantulas.
You're welcome. I am afraid of tarantulas. Am I the only one? I don't want to hang out with tarantulas.
I'm not a fan.
So furry.
2 knickers stole my phone. Got me again. But seriously, they were black. One had a smoke detector with a low battery in his pocket. Anthony Cumia was right.
All right, KFD. Very good. Bugle me this, responding to my question. I was an assistant strength and conditioning coach.
Nice.
That's interesting.
An
Actually
assistant strength.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with that. Like, he hung out with Brendan Schaub before Brendan Schaub was the biggest loser on the internet. Back when he had optimism and hope. Stewie felt, careful, Carl. A census taker frustrated Chad one time. Oh, Jesus, I know. I should be careful. Anonymous $5. It puts the pants on his skin or else it gets the hose again. Don't call him a creep, guys. He doesn't like that.
No.
Don't say that. Hunter Duke, who also has sent me clothing that I wear.
Oh, you're really asking for it.
This is a weird time to ask with all the Skinny Chad stuff. I promise I don't need to see you in it, but how did the Hawaiian shirt turn out? It's fucking awesome. I got a new Hawaiian shirt that has, who are these socials? Who are these podcasts? And what's the other logo on it? This little piggy point, dabble point, one of those things. One of the other shows. Maybe it's the creep off. Maybe it is the creep off.
Forgot about that show already, Carl.
Let's pretend it is. But
really is
thank
like
you,
we're trying to antagonize Chad.
It
With all
sounds
this
that
talk
way.
about how lovely that was.
Hunter Duke sends me some pretty sweet Hawaiian shirts. I got to be honest with you.
I heard you get right back to him every time he emails.
Bugle Me This says, I was an intern strength and conditioning coach with the Sabres during the Stanley Cup run in 98-99. What? Hanging out with Dominic Hasek and Michael Pekka? What? I want to hear about that. All right, guys, let's end the show now. I'm going to call Bugle Me This. Do some Sabres talk from here on out.
Skinny Chad's like, oh, now he wants to hang out with that guy.
Troy Smith, plot twist. They're cheeseburger pants. That is true. Yeah, they're cheeseburger pants. Close enough. The Greater Good $5. Carl, Who repels you from your fan base more, Podcast Hitman or this psychopath? Oh, I got to get in touch with Podcast Hitman.
Yeah, you
that
do.
answers your question.
Skinny Chad's like, oh my God.
How quickly is Adam Bush going to be on Podcast Hitman's show when he gets on?
Oh my God, it's going
I
to be
can't
amazing.
wait. I'll go to him. I heard he doesn't travel well right now.
Daniel Poon, Carl, up your psycho insurance, toot sweet. Hello, Jenny, and your jingles. You are a smooth man the way you talk. Stewie felt, much like Kumia, this guy also has serial killer glasses.
Kumia's glasses are wacky. We all know
They're
that.
wild,
wacky.
man. They're wild. Destriga, methinks Skinny Chad has a man crush on Carl. Who doesn't at this point? What's not to love? Daniel Poon, $5. Adam is truly the Columbo of the Dabbleverse. He calmly and quietly observes every facet of these freaky deakies, then breaks it all down for everyone.
Thank you. I'm proud to be of service on these front
He
lines.
accepts that. He goes, yep, sure am. KFT, this is the it's not you, it's me breakup. Picked up on that? DOC, €5. I slowly get the feeling this Adam from TV isn't really in the studio. Anyways, who are these people? I need to catch up. No, everyone's in the studio. You can tell.
Make you say that.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, buddy.
Carter was floating right next to me, right? I mean, right next to me over here.
Above you.
Yes.
Good to see you, Cardiff.
I have to move some things around to make that happen. But guys, thank you so much for being here, for supporting the show. I have some bad news. Maddox, when we had this show down in Tampa, this was the Dick Road Rage show in Tampa. Maddox reached out to the mayor. He reached out to the venue. He reached out to the police to warn them about this alt-right Nazi show that was going to happen in their city. And he tried to get our show canceled. And I thought, well, he's obviously learned his lesson since then. He's not going to try any more of these shenanigans, is he?
Hello, you worthless pieces of shit. I thought Boston wasn't a safe space for Nazis. Guess I was wrong. Road Rage Boston is coming to a Boston near you. I've gone at width about how Dick and his fans are stalkers, pedophiles, Mexicans, and bigots, but that is nothing compared to what the WATP audience is. Just look at their club-footed big cheese. That's right, I'm coming after you, Carl. I did my best to stop Carl from being able to do Boston Road Rage. Unfortunately, it appears some magical force is protecting Carl. Fuck Carl.
Is that AI?
This is AI, yes.
Okay.
Johnny Rocket, I heard this on the Dick Show this week. I'm like, you got to send me these. These are great. Johnny Rocket puts this up. He has a comic book called The Maniac with a K at the end. And these are really funny.
As we all know, Hitler gave speeches in beer halls. Look what that led to. It obviously follows that podcasters cannot be allowed to have live shows at wineries. I'm surprised I had to contact the venue at all. It's a winery in Massachusetts, the first state to legalize gay marriage. How are Dick and Carl even allowed to buy plane tickets to that state? Don't tell them Wilbur and Orville Wright, proud husband and husband, built the first airplane. Dick will have an aneurysm and Carl will start jacking off. Happy Pride Month.
It was Vermont. Whatever.
Yeah, and I thought they were brothers, but what do I know?
When I saw that they would be performing in Boston, I grabbed my roommate's phone and called the venue up. This must be shut down. Someone must have told them I would call, but gaslit them about me being the bad guy. I am, of course, referencing the movie Gaslight, where a man lies to a woman to convince her she's crazy. Dick and Carl are the liar guy. Myself, the venue owner, and listeners are the woman. Anyway, the venue owner said I was obviously some kind of prank caller because my voice sounds so silly. I tried to warn him that hosting Dick and Carl was phase 0 of the second Holocaust. He hung up on me, basically making him that guy who saved little boy Hitler from drowning.
If you're not familiar with Maddox's cadence and writing style, this is so spot on. It's incredible what this sounds like. It sounds like exactly what Maddox would be saying. And he put out a over 3-hour long documentary about Dick Masterson being his stalker.
Oh.
And it sounds just like this.
I would not give up so easily. I knew face-to-face was the only way I'd be heard. It was up to me to save billions. I grabbed my bindle and hopped on the first cross-country train that the ruthless gangs of LA's homeless weren't trying to have sex with. With my comfy slime blanket as my cocoon, it was a wonderfully scenic tour of our once great nation. It made me nostalgic for the days when thugs like Carl and Johnny storming the Capitol was unthinkable. How naive we were. Like how Chinese people still believe in dragons, we used to believe in fair play and justice.
Johnny and I stormed the Capitol. I don't remember that. Although I didn't know Johnny real well. So it's possible we didn't meet up.
I arrived in Boston, the home of Samuel Adams and other beers. The buildings were scary, and the cobblestone sidewalks forced me to crab walk in order to avoid falling. Not 5 minutes after my arrival did a group of tan men wearing Irish pride shirts called me the N-word. I corrected them. I am Armenian. Undeterred, they then started cheering for the country of Turkey and then the Red Sox. One of the thugs began listing the Red Sox players he would have sex with. I'm surprised it took me so long to recognize him. It was Carl.
Jesus Christ. I'm not even familiar with the current Red Sox roster. I'm more of a National League guy. Certainly not.
Okay, which Cubs would you like him to have sex
all right,
with?
now you're talking. Pete Crow Armstrong's at the top. I mean,
I vowed to Carl right then and there I would get the show canceled. Carl said in his real voice, "You'll never pull that off, my dear." I thought this was going to be the end of me. Just then, Dave Portnoy waddled out of a pizza shop. What luck. I grabbed the steaming hot pie and threw it in Carl's face. I really got him good. That's why the next time you see Carl, his face will be all fucked up and shit. Every part of it. Then to deal with the rest of his gang, I rolled Dave Portnoy like a boulder right through them. Dave was pretty pissed until I explained to him we were stopping the second Holocaust. Like Terminator, I was Kyle Reese and Dave was Sarah Connor, and together we would kill John Connor.
Yes, Dave definitely would be behind that.
And that's how Boston got canceled.
And yes, when you do see me in Boston face to face, I was hit with a hot piece of pizza in the face right before that. That's why I look this way. Stop judging so much.
I finally arrived at the venue. The door wouldn't budge. I could see the owner at the counter, but he couldn't see me for some reason. I banged on the glass and yelled as loud as I could. Yo, Carl must be stopped. Somehow he didn't see or hear me. And he even made a phone call. Some important venue business, I'm sure. The point is, even injured and disfigured, Carl has the ability to make people several miles away silent and invisible to venue owners. But the police officers who arrested me for making a scene saw me just fine. I am in jail. I don't know for how long. I guess I'll pass the time by writing a book. To all of you listening to this, do whatever you can to stop Carl. If that means going undercover at the event and doing what needs to be done, you have my blessing.
Going undercover? Like dressed up as like Chad Zumock?
Or a banana.
Or a banana? Is that what you're telling people to do?
There's better ways to shut down a WATP live event.
Well, we don't need to discuss them on this show.
What would you recommend?
Well, I mean, I had a great plan once in Chicago.
You did. Yep. There's going to be a lot of feces, I think, at the front entrance.
Deep dish pizza diarrhea.
That's right.
Surrounding the venue, yes. I think we could just... Isn't Boston famous for beans? Do something with that.
Kurt, I don't know if that's the best strategy. I remember
Boston cheeseburgers are famous.
I remember telling you on your show why that wasn't going to work because there was another entrance around the back.
Yeah, we got a lot of diarrhea, Carl.
Oh, well, in that case, I don't know how to get around a diarrhea moat, so that might actually do it. Guys, we got to talk about Stuttering John. He just did the Tampa Sports Expo this past weekend, and once again, I love when he does these expos. Because he's very bored. There's no one going to see him.
Lonely John.
Lonely John. So he did hop on a podcast, which is great. We're going to talk about that. First, if you want to participate in the show and support us, supertip.gg/WATP is where you go. Like Koof, my boy.
Hi, Carl. This is Vito. Sorry I sound like a woman. If I listen to your show, can we be friends again? I promise I will only blow up your phone 10 times a day instead of 20.
Thank you for not killing yourself.
Yes. Koof, thank you very much for not doing that as well. Red473, Carl, looking to book a comedian for an event. You know if Vinny could help me out? Looking for advice. Will be in Boston. Yeah, Vinny knows tons of comedians. And he knows some who are funny too.
Just so we're clear, he does not book a club in New York City. It's only New York State. I know I said that. There might be some rumors going around. It's not true. It's just Rochester, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, so it's not going to be anyone funny or interesting. It's just going to be upstate people.
Upstate comedians.
Yeah.
Or West Coast.
All right, let's get into the latest from our buddy Stuttering John.
He just went live.
Who did?
What?
Stuttering John.
What?
John's live right now?
I called this yesterday. On Twitter. His monetization is about to run out. He is live right now. He's got a black screen.
Oh, okay.
He's
So he's not
gone
doing
live
anything.
to keep the channel alive.
Gotta go.
There he goes. I'll share this with everybody.
Sleep stream?
Oh, he's got his Venmo up there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, new
Nasty
member?
meal. Member for 15 months. Why he's continuing his membership.
Oh, good.
That's hilarious.
Neil.
I love you all.
John's in the chat. I love you all, he says.
Oh.
I
John.
could not
All
have
of
been
us?
better. My call couldn't have been closer. Just yesterday, Carl, I called this.
You are the StutJo whisperer, Cardiff.
God damn it.
You've got him figured out for sure.
He really is offering everyone nothing. Fuck you, pay me.
Literally at this point,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
nothing.
Nothing. Just a blank screen. That's what you get.
Christian Blatt's over there. He goes, all even Lady K. Wait, Christian, are you no longer on our show? What's going on?
You were my ride home, Christian. What the fuck?
There's the super chats rolling in. All right.
Yeah, and look at Rev
over
Fun
under
Lee.
an
Welcome
hour.
back,
What do you
shithead. He's going to let this go for hours, probably.
Fuck you, pay me.
He should be on super tips because he could just run this with super tips auto interrupting. He doesn't have to be there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we could host.
You mean I could be lazier?
Yes.
It's hard to do. Hard to believe. All right, let's get into the Stuttering John stuff.
Bloody ass. Can I get a little sympathy? Because I got a bloody ass. I'm bleeding generously. Because I got a bloody ass.
All right. So Stuttering John, during this interview, he was listing people he's met through show business and going through who the good ones are, you know, Larry the Cable Guy and all that kind of stuff. And the interviewer, Peter Blate from On the Sports Web, or the Sports Web, I should say, in Tampa. Peter doesn't ask him, like, what do you hate about Howard Stern? Who's a shithead in Hollywood? But John offers this information up. I did a lot of this interview. I covered it on Point Double Point this week, where he's so bitter about Howard Stern. The guy just asked, like, what's it like working for Stern? You know, a question anyone would ask. And John just turns it, oh, he's cheap. He was a prick. He just goes through all these different things. Just like, not a single compliment for this guy that you should look up to and realize he created this amazing career in radio.
So what's it like working there?
You're right. He just has to bash people. So this is his own transition from the good people to the people he wants to shit on while he's on the show.
And Doug Stanhope couldn't be a cooler dude. And Larry the Cable Guy, another good friend of mine.
Right.
His real name is Dan Whitney. That guy is one of the nicest people you ever meet. Now I can talk about the a-holes I met in the business.
Sure.
Always be bashing. John doesn't even know how to talk about someone he appreciates.
No, he doesn't know how to talk. But
no, he can't talk. But he just goes, listen, you want to know who's great? Doug Stanhope, Larry the Cable Guy. Can we talk about people who suck now, please? He was like, yeah, I guess so.
But even the Larry the Cable Guy thing, why? His real name's Dan Whitney.
Right.
Yeah. Like we watched him learn that on his fucking show. What's the DW stand for?
Yeah, he had a W on the back of his shirt. He goes, what's the W for? Said, well, it's my name. But John is an insider, though, Cardiff. He has to prove he knows more than this guy does about show business by knowing Larry the Cable Guy's name.
You know what kills me is that he doesn't realize, like, anyone that says to him, oh, I know you from Howard Stern. What was he like? And then he talks about what an asshole he was. Like, no one wants to hear that.
No.
That you're breaking their heart. Like, it's disappointing. Every time he does that, the person who asked or the host is like, oh, fuck. Like, as a fan, you don't want to hear it. As a listener, you don't want to hear it. We want to hear the good stuff. You're just upsetting people. You're just, that hero of yours, total dick, asshole, don't like him.
Also, he was there for 15 years, 14 years. It'd be one thing if it's Stephanie Miller and you're like, oh, God, I could not work for that bitch. She was terrible. Okay, how long did you work there? A month. Like, okay, yeah. I get it. You worked for Howard Stern. What was that like? Oh, miserable, awful. You're there for 15 years.
Anyway,
That's right.
Would you
That's
want me to
on
sign
you.
this picture of me giving Howard a Christmas present for the greatest day of my life?
Oh, dude, somebody sent me that, and I should have had it ready for this show. Someone sent me what John was offering to sign because he got a couple autographs when he was at the Tampa Expo. Damn it, I should have had that prepared. Anyway.
I think I have that somewhere.
Do you?
His chat's all L's, by the way, in case you're wondering.
He just missed a huge opportunity to play his copyrighted music and strike me because I never snipe shows. I don't do that over here, and we were just sniping him. Missed opportunity for Johnny. Wasn't quick enough. But yeah, he was. It's crazy. There's a really old photo of him with Howard and Jackie. No one looks good in the photo. It's not well lit. It definitely was never meant to be like a press pic. And he's signing that for people. Howard famously did not let anyone put his face or likeness on any merchandise ever, and was upset with anyone who wanted to do that who was a part of his show. He thought it cheapened the show, and he didn't want to take advantage of his listeners by just putting his face on a shirt or an image or something. And look at what John's up to now. This asshole boss that he worked for.
Yep.
But
he's so controlling of his image. You know, there's those pictures of every guest that had been on the Sirius show. Of them, they get to take their picture with Howard, and if you remove the guest, it looks like the same photo. Howard wants to be photographed in this pose with his hand like that, doing this thing, and John's just throwing out this candid picture. I'm guessing because he loves to tell every single person the story of how he didn't get a good Christmas gift from Howard. He got a thing of popcorn. He looked for the check. There was no check. So what's the picture he wants to sign? It's John holding this oversized novelty Christmas gift box that he's giving to Howard. I feel like he thinks that's the end of that story. And see how generous I was.
You're right. And he did tell that story on this guy's show, by the way, with Peter Blake. We played that on Point Dabble Point on Monday. But first, John wanted to transition conversation about celebrities to people he wants to bash. So let's see what he's got here.
No, the top two people that I met were, because I helped Chelsea Handler in the beginning.
Okay.
I put her on my tour, and then she became a real biatch. and she's been horrible. She's been known to be a horrible person.
Right.
The other one that I found really odd was Ryan Seacrest. Okay. And I'm going to get back to radio here because now I'm on the Tonight Show.
Right.
I'm the announcer.
Right.
And I go backstage with Ryan, he's a radio guy.
Sure.
I'm a radio guy.
Yeah.
And I just said, hey.
It's a fraternity, by the way.
I
worked in radio too, and I feel like we're competing against each other.
Shut up, Peter. Peter jumps in for some reason.
He jumps in because did you see the look he was giving him? He's like, okay, so you don't want a career in radio, and you don't want me to have a career in radio. Okay, we're just going to sit here and talk shit about radio
Ryan
broadcast,
Seacrest.
the Casey Kasem of our day, and local comics that might come through. Like he's just looking at him like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah,
he tries to change the subject.
Correct. I love this idea that John goes, Chelsea Handler, well known to be a bitch. It's not just me saying this. And all I ever do is try to help the woman. Anyone who was on Stuttering John and Friends tour was helping John.
Yes.
John needed someone to fill that time so that people would go and laugh and get their money's worth. And then John took half the money.
Right.
But he acts like he was giving people their start by being on the Stuttering John and Friends tour, which is insane. Everyone knows John. But yeah, he goes into Ryan Seacrest. He's like, I'm a radio guy. He's a radio guy. Ryan Seacrest is a radio guy. Like if I said Joe Rogan's a podcaster, I'm a podcaster. Yeah. You know, it's like we're not even in the same leagues here. What are you talking about? Yeah, so I go up to Joe and I'm like, hey, Joe, you know, I do a show on YouTube too. And he wasn't as impressed with that. I couldn't believe it.
Guys like you and me, Joe, did you get the hamburger pants? When did you wear them?
Right. So this is an attempt at a dick joke that fails miserably, and I don't know what John thought was going to happen here.
So I went backstage. God, I'm the one announcing his freaking name, and he wasn't as big yet.
Right.
He only had, I think, one show as opposed to the 2,000 he has now.
But, good for him, by the way.
He's the next Dick Clark, and I use let me put some focus on Dick. Anyway, so Dick Clark.
Yes, of course.
Yes,
of course.
Yes.
They're still doing that, by the way, even though he's dead.
Let me put some focus on Dick. Anyways, is that supposed to get a joke? Yeah. Get it? Because his first name is Dick. Yeah, sure is. Good stuff. It was a focus on Dick.
And now the guy's leaning away from him immediately because you were touching me and being weird. Can I ask a question? Did John design the set? Because this is his normal cardboard box background. Like, this is his
right.
brand.
It's terrible.
I don't know if he leaned his greasy head on that Riddell box. With that stain there.
Yeah, that's the stain.
Yeah, so this is from the Sports Expo, obviously, because there's just a bunch of boxes and football helmets strewn about. So
this is what the Sports Expo should be. Not Stuttering John.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Sports, right.
Yeah. Can I take some of these boxes with me?
I also did you guys notice that John goes, so Ryan Seacrest is on the Tonight Show before he was like super famous.
Right.
Ryan Seacrest was the host of America's Got Talent.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine.
American Idol.
Or American Idol.
American Idol.
Right. Thank you, Eric. So American Idol was the biggest show on TV. It was like 30 million viewers were tuning into it every day. Ryan Seacrest
so was that Humperdinck guy, but he's gone.
Dunkelman,
we don't know him no more.
Well, John tours with him.
John did tour with him, for a minute. But yeah, so it's weird that John's just like, he wasn't that famous back then. As if like Ryan Seacrest is supposed to be desperate for camaraderie or companionship with Stuttering John.
But John doesn't know why he says things like that, except that he's always bashing.
Yes. So
Carl, you know how Ryan Seacrest was famous at the time?
How's that?
He was a guest on the Tonight Show in the early 2000s.
Right.
That's how you know he's famous.
Yeah, he's famous.
That's very funny.
Correct.
And this
and
guy
John's
Peter's
trying to downplay it.
Yeah, Peter's looking at him like, okay, you're shitting on Ryan Seacrest and you're praising Brian Dunkelman. This is not the horse to bet on. Like, it communicates, get away from this guy. He doesn't know what he's doing.
And John has the balls to say, and I'm the one announcing him.
I know, as if that's not his just job.
Right.
Like, you're going to sabotage his appearance because he wasn't nice to you?
Any contact John has with someone turns into like something favor he did.
Yeah, he's doing a favor,
Yes.
right. Yep.
Chelsea Handler doing a set of comedy for a set price is not a favor, it's a job. When you got the job on the Howard Stern show, that was a favor. That was doing something nice.
How many times he takes credit for putting Shuli's calls through on Howard Stern? Again, his job.
And writing Shuli's material for him, too, obviously. So
he's obviously still writing for Shuli.
Adam, I'm glad you're picking up on what's going on between these two, because Peter is kind of in radio still. And Ryan Seacrest is a pretty big deal. He's syndicated all over the United States. And so John just bringing him up to bash him, you'd be like, all right, this must be like a story. John must have a really specific story about Ryan Seacrest and what a douche he is if he's going to bring this up without being asked.
So I went back to Ryan and said, hey, man, I was in radio too. Just want to say hi. And it blew me off. He looked at me like I had three heads and just was just so conceited.
That was the story. I'm so glad you shoehorned that into the conversation, John. A guy didn't treat you the way you wanted him to treat you before his probably first ever appearance on The Tonight Show, which some people get nerves about, and they're maybe looking through their notes or they're thinking through their stories and talking points.
I love that he thinks he's spilling the tea instead of exposing himself for being the insecure douche that he is.
Yes, that's how Peter's looking at him like, oh, yeah, I bet Seacrest was the problem.
So this is like John Coy. This is someone figuring out who he is in real time.
Right.
Love it.
But this David Feldman explained on John's show why the dog Triumph was rude to John before the show. The monologue you were about to launch into, Carl, about maybe Triumph was nervous. Maybe he was getting ready. Maybe it wasn't like he got John to see and realize that he was being selfish and wrong. And John immediately, once he got to that point, said, yeah, well, fuck that guy anyway. And now has drank himself into a stupor ever since then and is still right back where he started. He's learned nothing. There's nothing you can do to help him.
Cardiff, any new updates? I see you monitoring multiple screens over there.
Oh, yeah, it's still a black screen.
Okay.
Still collecting super chats.
Oh, good for him. He's earned it.
Yeah.
All right, so then he tells a story about when Gilbert Gottfried and Billy Bob Thornton were both on The Tonight Show and the interaction between them. And Peter sees an opportunity to get some comedy out of this guy. He's got a comedian on his show. It's normally sports talk. Let's get some comedy out of him.
And Billy Bob is complimenting Gilbert, praising him like just, you're the best. And Gilbert is so awkwardly uncomfortable. I'm just laughing because Gilbert can't. He's just like,
Can you do a Gilbert Godfrey impression?
Hey, now I can't. No, yeah, I'm not a big impersonator. But yeah,
That's great. That's great.
That's terrific. That's
terrific. He's trying so hard to turn this into something. I
know.
Peter is getting his money's worth, or he's earning his paycheck. That's a J, I should say. He's really working hard to make this interesting. John's anecdotes just fall flat every time. Billy Bob Thornton liked Gilbert Gottfried. I'm cool. I do too.
I mean, he could have, even with the Ryan Seacrest stuff, he could have gone the route of, the Kardashians. He's involved with them. We came up with the idea for that. Like something can make a connection.
It's all brags. It's bragging disguised as anecdotes, bragging disguised as jokes. It's just, or bashing. Like someone has to be the asshole that he's better than. And in this instance, it's Gilbert Gottfried, right?
Yeah, he has this tell. It's a transition. He goes, oh, funny thing about that. Yeah. Whenever he says that, he is going to drop a name, possible 3 or 4 different celebrity names.
And it's never a funny thing.
It's not a funny thing. It's not going to go anywhere. He just wants to tell you he ran into Ryan Seacrest once.
He was conceited.
Well, let's talk about sports. John's a sports fan. They're at a sports convention. They're on a sports show. So finally they transition. Let's get some sports talk going. Maybe John will do a better job with this.
I told my friend Jiggs, I said, listen, they're not going to win until they change their helmets and uniforms. And as soon as they did,
1997,
they won.
They did. And now they're bringing it back. And every time
they have Jeremy Shockey too.
They didn't have Jeremy Shockey.
No, Keyshawn Johnson.
Keyshawn Johnson, who was a Jet.
Yes, but I'll tell you.
Your buddy there, Shockey, was a Giant.
Yes, I know, but I thought he went to Tampa too.
No, no. Keyshawn,
Jeremy
yes.
Shockey.
No, not Jeremy Shockey. No.
No?
No.
For some reason I thought he did.
That's okay.
But anyway, I'm a Yankee fan.
Okay.
They're in Tampa. This is a Tampa sports show. John doesn't know what he's talking about. He's like, yeah, they changed their uniforms and then they won, something a woman would say about a sports team. And then he references Jeremy Shockey, who never played for the team. And he's like, oh, really? What? Are you sure?
Cotton jerseys. Who would have thought?
Let's all right, let's talk about the Yankees. They're like, yeah, man, let's talk about the Yankees. It's great.
I love when you tell John something he doesn't know or he gets wrong. His only response is, I know.
Right.
You don't know.
He wants to argue more, but then he realizes there's 2 different people telling him that he's wrong. So he's just like, all right, maybe I'm wrong. I can argue this one.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, agree to disagree.
I'll deal with you later.
Pretty much. All right, so he was on a show, Jason Gillern's Divorce Podcast. And this was in 2017. He was on the show. This just surfaced. Someone posted it on YouTube and Dabblers picked up on it. And Adam, I know you listened to this. And it starts off, I'm going to play the first clip I have. Jay, the guy who's interviewing John, who has this podcast, struggles having this podcast about divorce because he's also a comic. I shouldn't say also. Jason Gillern is a comic. And he's doing this show about divorce, and it's hard to make that funny. It's actually quite depressing.
When that goes away and you can't be with your kids every day.
Okay, hold on. This is already too fucking depressing for me. But I want to. I know. But listen,
that's
hold
why
on.
I said this is the worst premise.
But listen, this will also fucking help people.
Thanks, John. Thanks for your support of this. Hey, you want to be a guest on my show? Only if I can call it out. Well, if I can tell your format sucks and it's not a good show. Sure. All right, then come on. Let's do that.
There's also something unique going on here, and that's that John and Jason Gillern are friends.
Yes.
Their wives know each other. They have a history, so they're comfortable with each other. And the other thing of note is that John is wasted, but he insisted on getting Jason stoned, and Jason is not used to being this stoned while interviewing. And it causes some train wreck moments, but it causes some great moments where Jason won't drop it and insist on getting an answer from John, which we never get. So that's really great.
That's
but
great.
John
I
is
have,
just a supervillain through all this.
I have one more clip before we get into the stuff that you picked up on.
Yeah.
And John drops the hackiest joke possible. John is just a hack in every way.
Can I say your wife's name? Or
Yeah, of course.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Susanna is...
Oh, I usually call her a witch, but okay.
This is depressing comedy. It's a whole fucking thing. A mixed bag of fucking...
Yeah.
So
just she's not allowed to be near water.
Well, here's the situation. Here's the situation.
Is that a Wizard of Oz reference?
I believe so.
Is that a thing that witches aren't supposed to be near water? Or is it just Wizard of Oz, right?
You throw them in water. You throw them in water to see if they float or something.
There's that. Yeah, there's Salem witch trials, but
is she a gremlin?
Yeah, something like that.
One of them. Jesus Christ, that's the worst joke. Her name's Susanna, right? Yeah, I call her witch. Do ya? Okay. Good
What
stuff.
went wrong, huh?
This era of John is so frustrating. We've been watching it a lot these last few days.
Yeah.
And he needs everyone to laugh along with them. And that's his signal to be like, I told a joke, and now it's your turn to laugh. It's brutal. So your clip number one here, you want to set it up for us, Adam?
Well, it's 5 minutes in, and they finally get to the first question.
So, Johnny.
Yes.
I want to hear about the fucking good times because I've even asked you this before I started thinking about doing this fucking podcast. Like you and Susanna, everything was okay. Was everything amazing? First question is genuinely, was there ever a problem when you met where you thought to yourself initially, there's a problem there, but I'm going to fucking look by it?
No.
Or someone told you something?
I fell deeply in love with
Incredible.
Susanna.
Okay, so tell me all about those fucking rad times.
Did he have their first kid out of wedlock and later married her? And he's acting like they were always deeply in love and love at first sight. And I don't know if that's really true, but all right.
You're going to hear this because it's his friend and he's comfortable. He instinctually, like a tick, has to say no to everything the guy says. Everything. And almost everything he says no to, he either immediately or shortly thereafter says the opposite, which happens in the next clip.
I should try that technique because on this show, we agree with each other way too much, I'm told by Kevin Brennan.
Well, then write the script differently. I'm just reading what you wrote me. I don't have any opinions.
You know, I took it to Hawaii because I did...
You met how in a
we
play?
met in Tony and Tina's wedding.
Whose?
Tony and Tina's wedding. It's an off-Broadway show.
Tony's wedding. Tony's wedding.
And the sheer arrogance of he's like at Tony Tina's wedding, and the guy's like, "Oh, who got married?
Right.
The off-Broadway show.
Oh, you're not familiar? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not waiting for Godot. He's not a person, you dumb fuck.
Right.
Sorry,
How do you not know about Tony and Tina's wedding?
His wedding. It's an off-Broadway show.
Okay. Oh shit.
In New York, and we met there, and it doesn't matter what we were playing, but we fell in love.
I'd rather meet at Yakov Smirnoff's dinner theater. A better story than that.
I'm in Branson. She's in Branson. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, right.
What a country fried steak.
And what a cunt on this girl.
And
during the fucking play, you were an actor and she was an actress in the play. Amazing.
Yeah, and
Amazing.
we fell deeply in love. So there's not one part of me that doesn't or will never not care about her.
Incredible. That sounds like
There's not one part of me that will never not care about her. I'll still care about her more in my little pinky. What is he talking about? What does that mean?
I thought she was a witch.
Right. Yes. It's back and forth.
Yeah. So even though that she turned out to be
we're not there yet.
something different, I still love that fucking bitch.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. I'm thinking of all these fucking questions now as I'm.
Oh, yeah,
but I'm gonna forget them.
You are the worst Barbara Walters ever.
Let me fucking write this down. These questions while I do this.
Well, what you're supposed to do, Jason, is
I don't
actually
know.
prepare
I don't know.
questions.
I don't want to know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't give a
That's
fuck.
rich. Yeah. John telling someone how to interview someone on his show. Oof, I don't know if he has the authority.
Did you hear that laugh?
Yeah, I could picture it.
Yeah. you see that in a script and it says like, evil maniacal laugh. You're like, people don't do that. That's not a thing. Listen to that.
They don't.
But he does.
That's not normal.
No, it's dark. It's a real darkness. And once again, he just keeps going and saying the opposite of whatever he just said. Now he has to explain, oh, yeah, well, I did know early on that there were signs that a divorce might be coming.
When did shit start initially to go, I don't know if I'm digging this. Sour. Sour is a great word. I'm writing that down. Go ahead. When? Like earliest. And exactly what were the situations?
What happened was, I remember once we were in a cab and she was pregnant with our first.
So that's early, bro.
And I was, we were together for a year, but like, I don't know. I remember we argued over something so stupid, like over a doctor or something.
Okay, but that's a fucking.
For an abortion.
That's a fight. Yeah. A fight is fucking normal. Why was that fight? Why was that fight different? And how did you?
No, it was. That was the first time that we ever had a fight. That's why.
That's
what I'm
okay.
Well, and then you see like another side, and you go, "Uh-oh."
Interesting. They were deeply in love. There was never any doubt. It was meant to be, and then they got into a fight once. He's like, "Oh, look at this bitch. I don't know about this one."
And he
probably
that
because she was pregnant with a girl. And John wanted a boy. Little did he know that was going to happen 20 years down the road. Fully unknown.
It was a fight about something insignificant. I don't know, something about a doctor. Probably the only insignificant topic there could be would be something involving a doctor. I think I have a suspicion as to what that doctor might have advised the Melendez family that John didn't like, but I'll let him reveal it himself later on.
Okay. Fair enough.
And this next one is he explains how it's a delicate transition between moving on from your ex to your future wife and how you have to handle it delicately so all the parties involved are happy.
Right.
I've had 3 loves in my life. And, Susanna being the third. So the girl...
Beer being the first 2.
That's what the doctor said.
That was working on a Channel 9 show with Howard.
Oh, wow.
Are you going to text?
No. I'm writing down what you're saying for a future question because that's a fucking great question. Past love.
Again, the fact that John would actually call someone out for looking at their phone during an interview. He's unbelievable, this one.
So what I'm saying is, but we just weren't right at that time, and I met Susanna and I loved Susanna more.
Holy shit.
And that's, and
you left her for Susanna?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
In fact, she found...
Why is that crazy? You know that
stoned.
they got married.
Okay. He's stoned in his mind. Yes.
He's looking at his hand.
Wait, so you were dating a girl named Karen, and then eventually you guys broke up and you married the woman that I've met that you used to hang out with?
You became a Karen.
Yeah, well, there's that.
So he was shocked that he was able to fool more than one woman.
That is
He was like, you guys met as actors in the same play? Oh, that's amazing. That's
right.
Never heard of that. Never
happened before. Who would want to put their penis inside of a coworker?
In fact, she found Susanna's she had these silk white pajama pants.
Oh my god!
In the end, she found them there. She said, "Whose are these?"
Oh, so John was cheating on Karen with Susanna. Okay.
Yep.
And I said, "My mom's."
What'd she say to that?
Your mom's obese. How's she fitting this?
So John jokes about his mom's panties, and it's funny, but Mike Morse puts a photo of them behind him, and it's cause for litigation.
It's called his mom fat on a podcast, so I guess that's on the table now, too.
He did just do that, yes.
He called her obese, but he thinks it's grounds for litigation that somebody called his sister Danny DeVito-like. And he's repeated that.
Yes.
Shit. Did she ever want to get married when you were together, or did you didn't, or how'd that go? Was it ever mentioned?
I once did when we played at this club in Queens.
Oh, this is a great story. I pointed this out, I think, yesterday on Living in the Past with Stuttering John, which you can get on our Patreon or our YouTube channel if you become a member, a bonus show we did. John tells these anecdotes. The anecdote that he told on the show that we played yesterday was playing a video game that was at Royce's Arcade, the guest brought up. And John's story was, Oh yeah, I used to play that game when I was drunk with my friends. Like every story has to be like around drinking and being drunk to remind everyone how cool he is, I think.
And I had friends.
Yes. So this is another example of that. This is, asking if him and Karen ever thought about getting married.
Club in Queens with my band, and then we were driving home or whatever, and we had to pull over because I had to puke. And I told her that I loved her. No. I mean, I told her that I wanted to marry her. But
I mean, did you ever talk about that sober?
Get married? No.
So it took you having a drink till you puked to fucking propose.
Look, I mean, that's what...
Take what you can get, bitch.
I think there's a billion people who can relate to that.
Yeah, well...
Unfortunately, they won't be listening to this shit.
Married or not married. So...
Do you guys think that actually happened, that John was coming home from a gig with his rock band, and he was so drunk they had to pull over and puke, and then he's like, we should get married, bitch? I don't believe any of that. I think he just wanted to talk about how he was playing bands and he was cool, and he got really drunk, and he'd be vomiting because he'd be so drunk because he's such a cool drinker.
I believe that 100%. I believe he asked her to marry him with vomit on his fucking shirt.
Yes. It does sound likely, actually.
It does. What's great about that little story is that no matter what, whether it's the truth or a lie or a combination of both, it's all like the worst thing you could tell. Like it all makes him look so bad no matter where it came from.
He has no idea, but he thinks it makes him look cool.
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And that's the alcohol and this immaturity are a theme. It keeps coming up. You press a little bit and there's always alcohol right below the surface of any of this. So now the guy he's like, tell me what the nail in the coffin was. And I leave in the guy's rambling question for a reason. See if you can pick up on it.
I want to know, when were you initially okay, this is too many fights, or fuck this, or I could see possibly separating, or what? The initial part of it. Was it in California?
No. Again, Jason, like every marriage, you start, like you get into it and everything's fine. You get in a few arguments, whatever, but you still love that person. So I loved her, and I still love her. But when we were in California is when,
Oh, wow. He goes, no, it wasn't in California. But actually what happened was when we got to California, he just wanted to say no. Wow.
I kind of knew it was over.
Holy shit.
But she did too. I mean, there were just a lot of problems I'm not going to get into because it would bore the crap out of everybody.
Well, that's gonna be.
Can I translate what's happening here?
Yeah. The pizza wasn't as good.
John gets to California. He's making way more money. He's on television, and he has connections, and that's where all the beautiful people move to is California. He went, oh, I could be fucking all of these girls instead of just my wife every night. Again, the pizza.
Same pizza every night.
Yeah, it's literally what he's saying right here.
Problem for my podcast. You think so or not really?
No. I'm telling you, like the whole Denise thing where her best friend started living with me, and
yeah, I remember all that.
Yeah. But this is fascinating right here. This gets really interesting. So let's learn about Denise and what Jason knows about Denise, because again, these were all friends when John was still married to Susanna, and apparently Denise moved in with them.
Started living with me, and
yeah, I remember all that. But that wasn't.
No, Jay. What the problem is that when I knew we were having problems with our relationship, and I said Denise has got to go because Suzanne was spending whole her time with her best friend.
I didn't fucking know that. You never told me that, and I completely understand that.
And I said, you got to ask Denise to leave, else this ain't gonna work.
Oh, you never told me that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I totally understand it, dude.
And then she said no.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No. And I asked Denise to leave, and she said no.
Oh my god.
So that's when.
That's fucking. I never knew that.
I'm being so disrespected here.
I never knew
I had
that.
a therapist,
No. That's not cool.
And it was like, no, you're being, so disrespected.
That's not cool.
Even the therapist agreed with John. How convenient.
When we went to marriage counseling in the last, few weeks of our marriage, whatever, even the marriage council said that's wrong.
Was Denise sitting there too?
No, I know. But she said no. I mean, she
that's
said
fucking
that's
crazy.
wrong.
I never knew that.
Did you ever know that, Kurt? If you know everything about Stuttering John, that he had a Denise move in with them before they got a divorce?
No, that's a new story.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
And I pulled a clip on here that is so telling because you have this guy, Jason, who used to hang out with them, knew Denise, knew Susanna, and this was his interpretation of what was happening.
For the people listening, I met Johnny had this fucking assistant, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Denise! And she used to bring you beers and shit.
No, she's not. Well,
not an assistant. It was
now
fair,
I
but-
don't like her, but she was nice at the time. But then again, I let her live in my place for free, and then.
Do I even need to comment on this? This guy saw Denise as his personal assistant. This was his wife's best friend who moved in because Susanna was bored out of her mind or whatever the situation was. And this guy was hanging out with him and went, "Oh, Denise, that was your assistant." And he's like, "Oh, no, I mean, I would make her grab me beers and stuff like that. But she was living rent-free, you know. What am I supposed to do? Got to take advantage of the situation."
Sounds like Susanna.
Yeah, she was the new Susanna until she wasn't, until she stopped getting his beers.
Well, what's interesting is that he used to always brag on the Stern Show about how Susanna brought him those beers. So now he's like, I don't need you, Susanna. Denise is going to do it for me. And then we get to learn how John feels when that situation gets reversed. It's grounds for divorce.
Here's the worst part, Jason. Just
That's fucked
I'm
up.
going to be completely candid here.
Right.
We would be on my bed. No,
you and Susanna only?
No. I would be on my bed in Calabasas, and this is in the last place we lived. And I would hear my kids hanging out with Denise and Susanna like all night while I was working,
Right.
like watching all the clips I had to do for the Tonight Show.
Right, but that's normal. That's
All
cool.
right, fine. So, like, Denise became Susanna's emotional surrogate. Like, you know, so, like, I was out of the picture. I mean, she didn't care anymore.
God damn it. Being a workaholic is so difficult when you're trying to keep a relationship together. John just needed to work all the time. Ugh.
I picture him there with a tear rolling down his cheek as he hears the children playing with Denise and Susanna.
It was all about her friend Denise. And when I asked her to leave, like I said.
And
she
why did you ask her to leave initially? Why?
Why did I ask Denise
yes,
to leave?
Yes.
Because I knew our marriage was falling apart.
Okay.
And I was like, if she's still here, then we're not going to be able to work on this.
From a man's perspective, hearing your situation, putting myself in that situation, 1,000%. I mean, maybe, do you blame yourself for letting it get that far in the first place instead of 80?
Oh. What will John say next? A, yes, I do blame myself. B, it probably is partly my fault. C, you got me.
Next. Lastly.
86
well, you know, it's so
earlier?
funny. I talked.
Oh, sorry. I thought Cardiff was talking for some reason.
Do you blame yourself for letting it get that far in the first place instead of 86
Well, you know, it's so
earlier?
funny. I talked to my friend in New York, and he said, as soon as like Denise was like moving in, he goes, the biggest mistake ever. Like he knew.
He didn't tell you that, though?
No, he did. He said, biggest mistake ever, because now that's
Did he
all-
know Denise or just as a girl?
No, he knew her.
Uh-huh.
But not because of her personality.
It's just you have a fucking marriage.
It was just like,
yeah, I get it.
you
No.
know, then she's going to hang out, and I'm like
I would
I'm
have
the
told
odd man
you.
out.
I would have told you the same thing before, I think. But when you had Denise, to me, it just seemed fucking cool. It seemed like she was your
Yeah,
assistant.
but she wouldn't leave because
Wow.
And you know, it's still.
I just didn't put two and two together.
It still
like that.
goes on to this day because.
Is it possible that John's just blaming Denise for all of this? Because this guy was like, no, she seemed awesome. And she's just like helping out around the house and doing whatever you wanted, you know, what you asked her to do. He's like, no, it was actually terrible. It was so bad. He's like, okay. I didn't see that at all.
Why
Like,
do you think
I don't know.
that John couldn't go hang out with them? Why did he have to stay in his room?
Because of
working.
workahol.
Right.
He just can't live without it.
But we know that's not him. You know, he's not driven by that burning desire
Of
to
course
achieve.
not. We
So what
played
is
a
it?
story on So was it on? I'm getting my things mixed up. I did Point Dabble Point, and then we did Living in the Past. The Coke story he did, missing work.
Right.
The Tonight Show that was on Living in the Past.
Living in the Past. The only time he ever called in.
The bonus show we did yesterday. So just to give you an idea of workaholic John, he tells this story about on a weekday night, picks up this 26-year-old hot chick from the bar, brings her back to his place. They're doing blow. He's banging her. Then he can't get it up because of the blow. And he's got to take Viagra. And then they're up till 5 a.m. He's supposed to get to work at 7. He has to call in. I'm so sick. Meanwhile, we're supposed to think that this guy wants to be hanging out with his family and his kids, but he's just sitting there watching NFL games, waiting for someone to say like penetration 3 or 4 more times so we can pull the clip for Jay and they can play it on the show.
I'm so glad you said NFL games. What does John like to do when he watches sports?
Drink beer.
Yeah.
What does he like to do when he podcasts?
Drink beer.
What does he like to do when he's teaching children in elementary school?
Zoom court.
I forget what engagement was when my daughter just like won all these overall achievement awards in junior high, and we all had a dinner or something, and Denise was there, and we were talking like we used to, like we were friends.
Can I get you to pause it? His daughter won all these overall achievement awards.
Right.
Wouldn't an overall achievement award be one award?
Nope. No, it's tons of them. There's tons
Multiple
of different overall
overall
achievement awards.
And she said, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And I said, yeah, if you want to come over, next night, whatever. Fucking
Wait, that's when you first met her and said come over or what?
No.
I'm
Jay,
stoned.
Jay,
Tell me.
Jay, this is like way
after your divorce?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Way
You didn't tell me
after.
this either.
Yeah. And
so what happened?
Yeah, and then
you ran into Denise.
Yeah, we were hanging out at one of my kids' successes, which, as you know, are fucking
multitude.
One of my kids' successes.
And
have them put tonight.
And where do they get all this brain power from? Which one of you?
Of course, me.
Okay,
Jason.
got it. But so Suzanne is there too.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just thought you ran into.
No,
fucking
but Denise and I
Okay.
talked, and she said she would hang out.
Uh-huh.
She wanted to talk to me, and then the next day she, would respond to my text. I'm like, "Are you gonna hang out?" And then
So he tried to fuck Denise.
Oh yeah.
He tried to fuck his ex-wife's best friend, and he's complaining about getting cock-blocked right here.
And she just blocked me, like
Wow. I didn't know
because
well, she's with Suzanne. She's friends with Suzanne.
I know.
Right.
But it's kind of weird. Maybe do you think that she was lying to you initially, or she was cool and was like, "I will," and then she had a second thought where like she can't do that?
Well, yeah.
Because I like Denise. She was fucking.
Yeah, but exactly. But Jason, guess what? I mean, so
yeah,
I'm gonna think that she's a friend.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What is the real story here? Denise moves in, and he says she's got to go, and Suzanne and Denise say, nope, she's not leaving. And then they get divorced, and then he's trying to fuck Denise the next time he sees her at his kid's thing with Susanna there. He's like, come back to my place. We'll do some blow. I'll almost get it up. I think he was in love with Denise. I wouldn't be surprised if the reason why the marriage ended is because John was caught trying to fuck Denise.
He
while they were
confesses
still
to
married.
jerking off to her and thinking about her in this episode. He says he would do
Okay.
that when Susanna wasn't having sex with him. He would sit there and
Yeah.
do that.
So there's a lot more going on. So then they get a divorce, and Susanna tells her family not to talk to John anymore. We're shutting John out of our lives. Don't talk to him. But as we know, one of John's best friends, because he listed him, one of the first people he listed when he talked about all of his friends that he has, is his brother-in-law. And this is interesting insight in the way John thinks.
Susanna's brother
did the same thing to him. Like, you can't speak to John, and the whole family. You can't hang out with John. And my brother-in-law, much to his, fucking
credit.
Yeah, or benefit, whatever. Much to his credit, whatever. He
Can't be right.
said no.
How funny is that? My brother-in-law, much to his credit, no, much to his benefit, decided to still be my friend, even though Susanna told him not to. He sees that as a benefit for his brother-in-law, being his friend.
Or he just doesn't want the guy talking to him to be right ever, so he's got to be wrong just to correct the guy. And he doesn't have positive words at the ready. He's asshole and loser is ready, but when it's to describe something positive,
credit, benefit. Yeah, he doesn't have those on the tip of the tongue.
Something.
That's a good point.
And it looks like Denise was his booking agent in 2008.
Oh, so she did work for him because he kept saying assistant, and he's like, no, my wife's best friend. So she did work for him.
An old friend from back home that was Susanna's friend that needed to come out to L.A. for some reason, needed some help, and John did one of those, she'll be my assistant, I could use some help. And I bet she helped him for a while, and then as she got personally entangled in their mess and John was on his, downward descent, I think Susanna was like, stay. And I really think she was like, stay because I don't feel safe. I think someone wasn't safe. That's when you move someone in. You're like, okay, if I can't leave, I don't trust you alone with these people. There's a story John told, you played it on your show a long time ago, where he says there was the last Thanksgiving he had at his house, and his in-laws were there, and he was giving a speech, and his mother-in-law stands up in the middle of the speech and says, "You're drunk." And he says this story to be like, what a bitch my mother-in-law is. But anyone who hears that story is like, he must have been wasted. And she's like, what are you doing? It's Thanksgiving. The doctor. All of these things. He wouldn't stop drinking. He's alone in his room drinking. You can be around the kids if you're not drinking. Well, fuck it, I have work to do. So then he goes, close the door and does his work.
Unfortunately, we had to go through all of the legal proceedings when John wasn't paying child support. And you see in there Susanna talking to the court and saying, John drinks beer every single day and he's smoking weed. And, I'm concerned about him being around the kids and he wants 50-50 custody. And I don't want him to have 50-50 custody of the kids. I don't think he's trustworthy as a parent at this point. It's like, this was an ongoing issue. You're right, Adam. For once.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it to you every time, but this time you might be onto something.
It's just a theory.
Jason asked some great questions of John in this next clip.
But my question to you, Johnny, is...
You should probably call it like the Jesus...
This is a very confused podcast, I will grant you that. But I'm like, let me ask you. So what percentage do you blame yourself? Why do you blame yourself if you do it all?
Look, if Hitler didn't force me into those showers.
Great question. What percentage do you blame yourself if you do it all? And I don't know where John's going with this. He was just taking orders, I guess. I don't know what he means by that.
So
what do you?
I'm saying, do you blame? You have to have some. You must, if you go through that, you must, as a human, must have some.
I took her for granted.
You took her for granted. Okay, that's pretty fucking broad in many different ways. How specifically, and I think a lot of women hearing this, or not just fucking women, men get taken for granted too, would like to hear a person say that, because I think a lot of people do. Well, how did you take her for granted specifically?
Because, I stopped having sex with her, but it wasn't...
Stopped having sex with her. That must have been a sad day for Susanna. I can only imagine. Oh, rats.
For you, Susanna.
Oh, no. Darn it all. That's a horrible answer to how did you take her for granted. Let's see if he corrects it.
Again.
How is that? That's not really taking someone for granted.
Well, it's just, I don't know, Jay.
Saving them
I mean, I took it for granted. Well, at least this is what I keep saying, so it makes her feel better. But I took it for granted because she would do everything for me. She's
an amazing woman. I mean, I didn't have a
maybe I should appreciate it more.
Interesting. That's fucking very well said.
Yeah. A very drunk John just finally actually came out with the truth that he needs a mom wife, dare I say it, to take care of him. Whether it's Denise or Susanna or his actual mom, he needs that in his life because he cannot control himself at all.
Yeah, he said she did everything for
everything.
Me, and I should have appreciated her.
Yeah.
Everything.
I didn't realize that having registration in your car would be so difficult to do, but apparently couldn't pull it off without Susanna.
I took it for granted.
It also smacks to me of like the one thing they made him acquiesced to in couples therapy, and it was the one thing they made him say, and that he kept, like, they kept jamming into his head, that he kept trying to implement, but he makes it clear he didn't know what it meant. He just knew it was like words. Like, I was told to take responsibility, so I keep saying, I take responsibility, and then do nothing about it.
Right.
He mumbled something about that. That's what I kept saying it to make her feel better. Like, he doesn't.
Yeah, after the sex thing, he's like, well, that can't be what it is.
No. And he still hasn't. That was the thing, so he goes with that. And that's all he's got. Because there's one real reason that he refuses to mention, but thank God this Jason guy is just stoned enough to hammer this home.
I think anyone would like to hear that, and I'm sure Susanna would like to hear that.
I've told her. It doesn't matter. Well, but again, we're still close, but she's got a boyfriend now.
Yeah, yeah.
Not like I would ever want to be back.
Let me ask you about that. Like you, I know you, and you have been with many, many, many women since your divorce.
All right, so you hear John brag about banging chicks. I know you, and you're always talking about banging chicks.
And does it bother you that she is with another person? Because I could see that's amazing to me.
No, I don't care.
No.
That's incredible. And what an honest answer.
I've had it. I've had sex with a Jay.
Oh, what a gross thing to say. Does it bother you that your ex-wife, the mother of your children, has found a new love and is happy? I already tapped that shit. Who cares? What an insulting thing to say. He doesn't even realize it, too.
No, he doesn't, because he just said, my heart was broken listening to her laugh with the babysitter. It destroyed me. Fuck it, I've used tissue. I've been there.
And let's not forget that at this time, 2 of his children were adults.
Right.
And one was rapidly approaching adulthood.
And one was way smarter than John already at this point, because Oscar's a genius. Correct. One more clip out here, the moment of truth.
This is it.
You want to set this up, Adam?
That's all you need to know. As is the theme here. You bring people to these moments of actualization, and they acknowledge it, and then they run in the other direction.
So listen, let me ask you this then. Tell me one, and I think you've been very honest, extremely honest, Johnny, extremely honest. And that's why I want to do with you, because you just put shit out there. So what would one thing that Susanna would say is great about you, and one thing, not blaming for the marriage, but one thing that you did besides taking her for granted that she'd be like,
Is this like inside the actor studio? Because if it is, ask me my favorite curse word, and I'll say you're a fucking dickhead.
That's not how the answer to that question would work, John. All right.
Rather use keep southern.
Okay,
Yes. Let's not get into that right now, Cardiff.
The one thing.
Well, just one thing. Give me something positive that Susanna would be like, John's amazing at blah 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 blah. Because you're a great dad.
You know what? Honestly, if Susanna, she'll say smart, loving,
you're a great
caring,
dad too.
Great dad. Like she would say.
How could he take her for granted and be loving and caring? It can't be both of those things. And smart. Don't get me started on smart. She would not say that.
All those things.
You
know, there's not. I mean, the only bad thing she would say is like drink beer too much and an alcoholic, whatever.
What was that?
Kind of trailed off.
That's a big one right there. Abuse the family, alcoholism.
Killed a bunch of people and buried them in the yard.
That's incredible. Let's hear that again.
I mean, the only bad thing she would say is like drink beer too much and an alcoholic, whatever. But I mean, that's probably
that's just one of the things. I mean, she's very nitpicky though when it comes to my parenting. So I guess that's the thing.
You think maybe that's what the doctor was talking about that many years ago? Do you think that's the theme? I'm sorry, I'm not gonna let it play out.
No, I think the doctor. They were having that argument in the cab about the doctor. Doctor was like, "Look, I know I'm just a doctor, but I think you guys should get a divorce."
I'm not a therapist, but I've just been watching your interaction.
I'm a vet, but you guys shouldn't be together. And I'll keep the dog.
I actually pulled one more clip that I want to play on here.
Great.
Because you know what? Who wants to go through life having people mad at you? And I don't want to go through life that way. It's not who I am, man. I'm not wired that way. I'd rather everyone love each other.
Have a good fucking time.
You know, I know it sounds so cliche and everything, but that's how I don't know. I don't want to hate anybody. I don't want anyone to hate me.
Listen to this.
Then why does that consistently happen? Fucking with you, Johnny.
Boom.
The look that John must have given him because he's just like, "Hi, man, I'm just fucking with you." John did not laugh at all.
Yeah, I didn't hear the fake laugh.
I didn't hear the fake laugh at like, you want everyone to love everyone, then how come everyone hates you?
And that was back then.
And silence. And this is a guy who knows John and knows his friends and hung out with him and his family.
I've never seen this guy on any of his shows.
It's crazy.
He just said his favorite curse word was "you're a fucking dick."
Yeah, I'm just all about peace, love, and understanding. I don't know if you know that about me.
I got 3 words for you. Go fuck yourself.
We got to find Denise.
We gotta find Denise. I don't want to fuck with Susanna, but Denise would be an interesting person to talk to.
I've already reached out.
Hey.
She does, Carl.
I'm listening.
I wish she wrote a book, but she does a one-woman show. Lessons learned, the time of my life. She just finished 5 days in Houston, and I'm hoping she comes to a town near us.
Does she have a YouTube channel?
She
must.
does not. She does not.
One of the few.
She's still acting, but yeah. Because I said so, that's why I take a nostalgic journey through decades of wood-paneled wisdom in blank.
Wood-paneled wisdom?
Lessons learned in the time of my life.
Wow. That's amazing. I'll go to that.
I've reached out.
Field trip.
That's like a Tom Myers title.
Me and Adam are
Lessons learned in
interviewing.
the time of my life.
Yeah.
Me and Adam are interviewing her tomorrow night.
Yeah, please do. You can blow off Joey C for that.
Can I
I
sit
love
there and
how,
not say anything?
all of John's achievements or things he wants to do or things he stole from other people. Of course, Denise has a one-woman show.
Good point. Yes, that's where you learned it from. Guys, we have 2 minutes with Tom coming up in just a moment with our review girls are going to get involved in this. I'm very excited. But first, I want to yell at the people who are thwarting us and giving us money through supertip.gg/WATP, like Silence Do Good.
Hey, Mod, did you see how I dropped Larry the Cable Guy's real name? That's a slick move I do to show people how close we are.
Go ahead, Adam, take some of these.
Scrotum tingle. It is tedious how John thinks anyone believes he's not being homophobic by calling Carl Lady K. If you're going to do a gay joke, just do it.
Do it. I got you. I got the assist on that one.
Meester Smeeth is a member for 3 months. Cardiff, you're the man. Chris always says the funniest shit right on time. Adam is pretty insightful. Carl married a gal with nice cans. Vote Vinny.
It's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me.
Laziest man on Mars is chiming in. I hate this self-laughing chuckle fuck interviewer. He's stoned against his will. He makes it clear he did not want to smoke. He's never done comedy high, and John insisted so he didn't have to feel nervous. Laziest man on Mars, I took her for granite.
Are you saying granite? Well, yeah. It's granted with a D.
I want to welcome review girl Annie is here with us. What's up, Annie?
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
And also, Megan is making her return to the show. What's up,
Hello.
Megan?
Not much. Just watching the Mets win. Unlike the Cubs today.
Oh, shit. I didn't watch the Cubs today.
Spoiler alert.
They lost the
Spoiler
series,
alert.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost in the 11th the other night.
I'm sorry.
It's very disappointing, Chris, if you must know. Well, congrats to your Mets. Very happy for you. All right, let's check out what's going on. Megan has not won this game yet. You're due for a victory.
Holy shit, what is that?
I'm, of course, a pro. Let me see. It's not Annie. It might be Megan. It's definitely Megan.
What'd I do?
Is there someone sawing
The
next to
host.
you?
No. I think I might have the TV on.
There's a rotisserie next to her.
All right, I'm going to mute you for a second, but
okay,
you'll be able to hear and everything. All right.
All right, this is the one.
This
We've
is
got
it.
5 players. Come on.
Oh, we're going to crush Cardiff on this one.
It's time for everyone's favorite new game show. What do you say, ladies and gentlemen? And Adam Bush, are you ready to find the bomb? Playing 2 minutes with Tom.
this is how you know he's watched this before. And look, I'll be honest. I mean, I've seen these clips. Like, I went ahead and compiled them just to make them listenable, so I'd have to keep scrolling through all of them. But it's like he acts like he's seeing this for the first time, and like I watched him. I saw him respond to it on social media in real time. So it was, this is an act, bud. Toe, you know you love covering me. You know you love it. You know you love going into this rabbit hole that is me.
You tell a shitty bong hit transplant joke for 7th graders.
What did Tom say next? Here are your choices. Number 1, it wasn't a shitty joke. B, I never performed for 7th graders. Next, at least I was never a cuck. 4, what jokes have you done? And lastly, I don't even do that joke anymore. 2 minutes with Tom.
This game is so hard.
I know.
I mean, it really could be any of these. I'm going to go with lastly, I don't do that joke anymore, because I know that Tom does say that as if it's some kind of positive thing. Like, yeah, I know I used to suck as a comic. I still do too, but Adam, what do you think?
I think this is really brilliant. It really is. Every one of these could be it. And that's the point. So very well illustrated here. It's
we get it. I'm amazing.
Yes.
This time
enough,
in particular.
Enough potato washing.
You're right.
With your tongue over there.
I'll go with the next. I was never a cuck.
I was never a cuck, says Adam. And Annie, what do you think?
I also think I was never a cuck.
I was never a cuck. Megan, what do you got?
I feel like it would be something really dumb, so I'm going to go with 4.
What jokes have you done? Yep.
What jokes have you done?
I have a question. Are you sure you're using the right microphone? You might be using
I got a new headset.
computer.
I got a new headset, so I don't know if it's working or not.
Do you guys want to take this backstage, or do you want to maybe?
Oh, stop it, Adam. We're troubleshooting on the fly over here.
Adam's trying to win a game here.
Producer Chris, what say you?
I'm afraid I also went with lastly, so we didn't get the spread.
No, we did not. All right, so you and I have lastly, and then I was never a cuck is
Adam and Annie.
That's me.
Annie, and Megan picked
4.
Okay, so it can't be 1 or B, because then the
Now,
stupid potato will win.
I want to give some background on this clip.
Okay.
Only because when I initially pulled this clip, I had pulled something way farther down in the clip, like probably a minute and a half later. And I started it early, and I'm like, wait a second, there's a better one in here. So Saturday, you'll see the rest of the clip.
Okay.
All right.
We'll get the second one on Saturday.
Teaser.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
All right, good.
There you go. This one came at me very last minute.
Toe, you know you love covering me. You know you love it. You know you love going into this rabbit hole that is me.
You tell a shitty bong hit transplant joke for 7th graders.
I never performed for 7th graders.
Oh, fuck! God damn it!
Yeah.
More
suck.
Carl kept talking about the Warren Commission. Oh, God, where's Lee Harvey when you need him?
Whoa! Go off, Toe! Damn!
George Carl.
That's all for this time.
All right, all I have to say about that is
That was such a great fucking line.
congratulations. I never performed for 7th graders. What an idiot. It's the dumbest thing he could have said. I should have known.
I almost put I'm rubber, you're glue in there, but
right. It would have also worked.
Yeah, I would have bought that.
We set this up earlier with the Tom Myers bit, where his only transformative content was to correct the city and state delineation of New York.
Yep.
So I never performed for 7th graders, therefore this is all null and void.
This episode has been brought to you by patreon.com/Cart of Electric. and the new Cardiff Electric YouTube channel. Subscribe today at Cardiff Elect. Sit, Eugene, sit. Good dog.
So, Cardiff, I know you do a good job of covering one Chad Zumock.
Who?
What's your take on him getting his monetization back? Was it all fake all along? Was this all a work?
I have a strong feeling it was, because we saw the messages that members got. And again, we didn't see 1,100 messages, Chad. We saw 5 or 6 people that posted clips saying your membership has been paused. So it's very, very strange.
He could have gone into the system and paused it himself?
Yeah, there's a chance. Again,
I don't think he did. He's not a good enough actor. He really was freaking out about losing his monetization. I don't think that was fake.
No, but I almost think that there was we're pausing everything while we look into this. Like, that was part of the message he got.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he had to make it look like the world was on fire. He had to get into bed with Melton. You know, he had to let Melton remote into his computer. Evil Patrick Melton.
What do you think about him turning on Melton right after that? After everything that Patrick did for him?
Yeah, everyone saw that.
Okay.
That was obvious.
All right. I think
I'm just upset we're not going to see the 89 different voices that he was planning for his super tip system.
Well, he's still working on super tip, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's not getting any more voices.
He could if he wanted to.
No. He's been cut off. He only has 3 voices now.
Right.
Okay. Anyway, we've done it all today. We've got maybe some reviews of voicemails coming up, but first, everyone's favorite part of the show.
The teaser.
This Saturday, Husey makes his return to Who Are These Podcasts.
Nice.
Oh.
Excited to have Husey on the show. And as far as what we're reviewing, I announced this a couple weeks ago. We have an extra ticket to give away for Boston, June 21st. If you'd like to win that ticket, send in a great podcast review suggestion. Something that'll be interesting for us, something different. And if you send in the best suggestion, you can win that ticket to our Boston show on June 21st. Just let us know that you're looking for that.
I thought you were going to say whoever can disconnect Husey's internet before Saturday wins the ticket.
No, I like Husey. I'm excited to have him on the show. I think it'll be good.
Just send him a ticket to any kind of music festival happening anywhere in Ireland, and he'll
That's
skip
true,
the show
and he'll
go
blow
to
me off. Yes, correct. if he's got a pocket, a bag full of powder, and a music festival to go to, there's no way he's going to show up for WAT.
It could be an Oasis cover band, whatever. He's
Stiff Minister's in town.
Yeah, you wish. Annie, Megan, do we have any reviews to read?
I have one.
All right, let's hear it.
It says, boring, unfunny, and mean-spirited from Tokyo Sarah. Listened to 10 minutes of the latest podcast episode and had to turn it off. First, they're expressing incomprehension at people making 9/11 jokes, and then they're making SA jokes. Obviously, only they can pick what's funny, and everything else is reviled, tone-deaf, and pointless, and not at all what I had imagined from the way Adam Bush described on The Rewatcher.
Well, that's retarded.
I think Mary Beth read that one on Saturday. I think it's a 1-star review.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I've been haunted by that one since last week. Which episode is she talking about?
Have you been on The Rewatcher?
No, not The Rewatcher. I mean, like, which WATP is she talking about where there was 9/11 jokes and SA jokes? I don't remember.
I don't know. All the time?
I think it was last. Oh, it was when Jim Florentine was in, actually.
Yeah, those are usually Saturday shows. Or that's when they do the
what I'm
9/11
saying.
stuff. Yeah.
So it's not Anna's fault. That's why Adam asked that.
Thank you.
Take himself off the hook. All right, just listen to the midweek shows.
I
if you want to
plug
be
the
entertained.
Wednesdays. I can't be held accountable if you can't get the day straight.
Jew jokes are Wednesday nights.
Right.
And
Saturdays are 9/11.
Jew joke Wednesdays. It's like, Joey C. Oh, when you're talking to Joey C. tomorrow, do you know who is decided who's his new lineup and programming will be for his channel?
Is it AI?
It is Uncle Bob.
Yeah.
His AI producer.
Who has been added to the super tip voices, if you want.
Has he?
Have you heard the first question that Joey C is going to hit you with? Adam Bush.
Is it who are you and where are you going?
You know what? I'll let you. I'll let you
Okay.
hear it live. You know, I don't want to ruin it for you.
There's gonna be a spoiler.
What am I walking into over there, Cardiff?
I can't wait. I'll be watching.
Okay.
Megan, do you want to try to stump us with a review on there?
Yes, I'll do a short one.
Sounds good.
So this one is The Hate You Give. Talking bad about other people's show will never make you more popular. Always remember, Porsche ain't worried about Toyota and Toyota ain't worried about Kia. Sadly, your show will always be Ford. What's wrong with Ford?
I'm happy with that. Good
American-made automobile.
Good fine vehicle. That makes it worse.
At least I know I'm free.
I think that's a 1-star, but I want to be optimistic. I'm going to say that's a 5-star review that we got.
No, you were right the first time. It was a 1.
Boo. It was from the heart.
Well, we've gotten pretty popular being jerks, so I'm sticking with it. That's my stance.
But even she agrees it's okay when it happens to Chad Zumick.
All right, let's hear some voicemails, then we'll get out of here.
Hey, Carl, you said usually daylight savings time. It's half the year. It's 50% of the time. Just so I let you know.
Wrong. It is usually daylight savings time. It's 65% of the year. I looked it up because they moved the dates.
Oh.
Remember? Because people were complaining instead of just getting rid of it. They just moved the dates. But yeah, 65% of the year is daylight savings times. So when people say EST, PST, they're usually wrong. Take that.
All right, I just have a message for Opie. I'm listening to old stuff, listening to old segments.
Mm-hmm.
He can be entertaining.
Okay.
He is. Stop with the get parts. Get back with Anthony. Move past it. When you have other people who are conversationalists, you can put on an entertaining radio show. You're not this. You're not this, Greg. Go back. It was entertaining. We liked it. I wanted to pick it apart. I couldn't. I liked it. That's why I'm listening to old segments. Come on, Ope.
So this guy goes, Opie can be really good when he surrounds himself with talent and gets out of the way. Yes. All of us could do that.
Yeah, right.
We all
Even-
know Opie's
even
listening,
Cardiff.
but I doubt he's making it all the way to the voicemail segment.
Yeah, are you supposed to forward that voicemail onto him or something?
I just assume it'll get to his people somehow, some way. It's not really my problem anymore. Here's a fun observation about Frenchie.
Oh.
Wait, you're telling me Frenchie Hanna is trans? A woman this retarded used to be a man? This might be the best passing trans woman in existence.
Andy's agreeing. I see some head nodding.
I want to go on her show so bad.
Oh, you'd be awesome on that show.
Yeah.
She'd be so confused by you and everything else all the time. All right, here's a question about my caffeine intake.
Hey, Carl. This is Kevin from California. Just had a question for you. I noticed on one or two of the more recent episodes you've mentioned from time to time trying to not drink caffeine anymore. I was thinking about doing that myself, but I was kind of curious why you made that decision and if you've noticed any benefits since stopping caffeine. Realize this isn't really related to the show in any way, and it's somewhat of a personal question, but I don't know. Just thought I'd ask anyway. Anyhow, thanks very much. Love the show. Been a listener since the double-digit episode days, and it's pretty much a staple of my week. So, best wishes to you and the boy.
Well, thank you, sir. That would explain why you would ask me such a ridiculous question, because I'm not an authority on any of these things.
I wanna
But go ahead, Eddie.
I want to play the Dick Show's game, Fat or Jerking Off.
Yeah, I know, right?
Who, me?
Did he just walk up the stairs, or is he pleasuring himself while talking to me? High blood pressure is the answer of why I cut out caffeine, and it's surprisingly easy. I talk to people who get headaches and have a really hard time. It wasn't difficult at all.
Banana bag.
I haven't had a banana bag in a long time, but I do have my banana bag sitting next to me right here.
It's empty. I took them all.
What?
You fuckheads don't realize that even if they rename that stupid Navy ship something other than Harvey Milk, guess fucking what? It's still going to be full of semen.
Pretty good joke. I don't think we were talking about that on this show, but I'll take it.
Carl, I understand why you have certain lines with jokes, because you remember simpler, more innocent times, where the worst thing you'd see on the news is hijacked jetliners flying into buildings. Good gig.
It wasn't great, to be honest with you.
That's more of a Saturday show message, if you could just...
That's true, yeah.
Thank you.
Carl, hey, everyone in the Dabbleverse is very excited for Tuesday, July 1st, the most popular show on the channel. Who are these broadcasters? Episode 100! Woo! 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 And word on the street is that you're planning on throwing a banquet for all the fans with chicken and beer and a raffle, lots of prizes, funny hats. I believe Adam Bush is coming to the event. So please share with us all the details of the festivities. Some of us are celebrating a little bit early out of my intelligence. Promo code Bears.
Free beer and chicken. Isn't that the show that Eric Zane used to be on? Is that the reference there?
I believe so.
WATB episode 100, July 1st. Tune in for it. It's going to be a wild celebration. They did have Vinnie Paulino on the show today. They had a special day today for who are these broadcasters. Christian Blatt is here. Promo code Bears. Always promo code Bears when it comes to who are these broadcasters. All right, last voicemail. This is a good one.
Hey, Carl. With the whole abortion guy thing, I wanted to give you something in case you want to use it or not. All right, here we go. Are you an abortion guy?
Oh, I was an abortion guy.
Pretty close.
All right.
Try again.
Take two.
All right.
Are you an abortion guy?
Oh, I was an abortion guy.
All right, there you go.
I wish you were an abortion, guy.
I see what you did there. Rocco Orb 2002 says this show is the Saturn of the Dabbleverse. That's how you do a car joke.
No, they're supposed to be much longer,
Oh,
much more convoluted.
Terrible, terrible cars. I thank you so much, Annie. People should go check you out at insanity.com.
Absolutely. As soon as I rebuild my computer, I'm having so many tech issues lately. It's like I was hit with Doom's curse, and I don't know what I did to piss her off. So I'm sorry, Doom.
Sorry to hear that.
Megan can help you out.
Yeah, Megan's got it all figured out over there.
Maybe Adam's new friend KC Armstrong can help you.
Megan, anything you're plugging? Anything you're promoting?
No, just I'm checking out the NBA Finals after the Mets game. So,
who do you like in it?
I'm rooting for the Pacers.
Okay.
So I don't know if they're gonna win.
They probably won't, but that game one was exciting the way they came back at the very end.
It was. I love watching sports when I'm not watching podcasts. So
same here. The NHL is also getting very exciting with that 5-on-5 fight that happened at the end of Game 3 after a blowout victory. Yeah, go Oilers. I'm with you on that. Now the Cardiff lives in Canada. Cardiff, anything else you want to promote, my friend? You got any shows coming up?
WATB episode 100 coming up July the 1st. Ladies and gentlemen, check it out.
Very exciting. Adam Bush?
Subscribe to my new YouTube. That's all.
Yeah, you should subscribe to Cardiff's YouTube.
I'm a new subscriber to that YouTube channel, and I am wildly satisfied so far. It is outstanding. Sunflower Dragon, that's not me. I would be on Joey C's show tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Catalano TV. Please join us as we have a very serious and measured discussion.
Laziest Man on Mars $2 says, Megan, the Mets will always break our hearts.
But they're number one in the NL, so you gotta have the faith, man. You gotta have faith.
Yeah, well, that's
I
early.
think the
It's early
Cubs
in
are
the
number
season.
2, but
the Cubs are looking good. Of course, they didn't win the series against the Phillies, but the Tigers are looking really good in the AL, and you and I will be at a Tigers game in just a few short weeks. We're heading down to Detroit to see Devo and the Tigers and hang out with Drew and the gang. But first Boston, WTBlive.com, June 21st. We'll all be there. Well, most of us will all be there. unless Megan hook a ride with Adam or Dick Masterson. Might be tough for her to get there, but most of us will be there, and we're looking forward to that. Still available. There's a few tickets. Get on there, sell it out so that we can brag. And producer Chris is getting fussy, so
I gotta go. Bye. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go.
Okay, bye.
Go fuck yourselves. Have a good week. I gotta go. Bye. I gotta go.
Okay, folks. Guess what?
I can't get enough dicks in my body.
I don't know. Who gives a shit? Why am I even still doing this? I'm out of here.
Okay, bye.
You fucking dickhead.
He did exactly 1 hour, 19 seconds of